Happy game day. Welcome to the Texas Sports Unfiltered Longhorns pregame show. We are broadcasting live from Lavaca Street Bar on South Lamar, getting set for the Texas Longhorns SEC opener against the Florida Gators. 2.5 hours away from kickoff. We will talk all about the game, a huge matchup for the Longhorns, trying to improve to 4-1 on the season, and of course, trying to start conference play 1-0. A lot of storylines. We'll give our keys to the game, and of course, our score predictions before we wrap up. We are live at Lavaca Street Bar once again on South Lamar. We will be here until 2 o'clock. If you're looking for a place to watch Texas and Florida, come hang out with us. They've got tons of TVs, cold drinks, great food, and of course the sound will be on for Texas and Florida this afternoon. Buck, it's good to see you, my man. It's been a while. Happy game day.
Yeah, man. It has been a while since I've seen you or spent some time with you. And there are lots of folks here at Lavaca Street. There are Aggies here, Virginia Tech Hokie fans that are here.
I didn't know they still had fans.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe they had given up.
Yeah.
USC fans, Michigan fans. I mean, there's a whole conglomerate of folks that are coming here to see their favorite teams, and tons of TVs. I mean, every spot has and every game is on. There's the Illini game on even.
Yeah, your Illinois Fighting Illini playing right now.
Perdon't. They're playing Perdon't.
They've got Michigan on. They've got the Georgia-Kentucky game. How about Clemson up 28-3 on North Carolina at the start of the second quarter?
Yeah, that experiment's going to come to an end shortly, I believe, down in the Carolinas.
Not a great start for Bill Belichick today. And the Aggie transfer, Max Johnson, is quarterbacking North Carolina today. So not a great start for him either. But this is the place to be. One of my favorite spots in all of Austin. Great spot to watch all the college football today, all of the NFL action tomorrow, and all season long. If you were here at Lavaca Street Bar and Grill, we were giving away some koozies. We are also giving away a free cowboy hat from our friends at Cavender's. If you want to sign up, all you have to do is come to the right of our broadcast table. We've got some raffle tickets. Just put your name and number down. We will do the drawing right before 2 o'clock. So, again, if you want to be entered for your chance to win a free cowboy hat courtesy of our friends at Cavender's, all you have to do is stop by the table to sign up. All right, Buck. Texas at Florida, only the 5th all-time meeting between these two blue blood programs. First time Texas has played in Gainesville since 1940. And the Longhorns have never lost to the Gators. 3 wins and a 7-7 tie back in 1924, I believe, the year you were born.
I was not born then. No, I was. It took a while.
You were 22 or 23?
22 or 23 years old by then.
Yeah, that was the first ever matchup between these two teams. And again, the Longhorns' first trip to the Swamp since before World War II. Of course, Texas and Florida played last year here in Austin. It was a beatdown, or an assing, as we like to call it, 49-17, an easy SEC victory for the Longhorns at DKR, but obviously a little bit different having to go on the road to one of the most hostile environments in the country.
Yeah, it should be. You should take that as such a challenge. If you're playing for the Longhorns today, you should be excited about playing in Gainesville. That's got to be a fun place to go play. They've heard about it. Some of those kids have heard about it all their lives. Their parents have heard about it. Other fans of Longhorn football have heard about it. But to have the opportunity. But to have the opportunity to play there is an awful lot of fun. It's just got to be, you want to play at those historic places, Gainesville, Tuscaloosa, Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Then now you've got an opportunity as a player to go there and play. So this will be fun for the players themselves to be involved in this. Hopefully the rain will hold out and it'll be just a beautiful, muggy, nasty day there in Gainesville, Florida.
Well, trying to predict the weather in Florida is even harder than trying to predict the weather here in Austin, Texas, right? I mean, there's about a 50% chance of rain at 2:30 when this game is scheduled to kick off, but also some scattered thunderstorms in the area. So obviously they'll play through the rain. They won't play through lightning. We've seen some delays. I don't think there's been a delay at a Florida game, but Florida State had a delay earlier this year.
Had one.
Miami had a delay earlier this year. So weather always a factor in the Sunshine State because the sun is not always shining. So, I mean, how do you prepare for that, Buck? Is there anything you could do as a coach, as a player to prep yourself for maybe rain?
There are times when you hear about teams that will, soak balls all during a practice, certain practice during the course of the week. But, I mean, you soak a ball here in Texas, 15 minutes later, the ball is dry.
Right.
I mean, it's just you really can't do anything. You just got to prepare yourself to just take care of the football. That's just a part of it. I mean, ball security is just a little bit extra in a game like this. And then you do all those kind of things, and then it never rains. You end up in a spot where nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
So you just don't worry about it. You know, a wise old ball coach once told me, weather can be friend or foe.
Yeah, no shit. You mean weather can be friend or foe?
Yeah, I mean, he said it all depends on how you take it. You know, I learned that when I was in Champaign, Illinois. You just never knew what the weather was going to. One day it was going to be freezing.
Yeah.
Next day it was going to be windy, and the next day it was going to be sunny. So it all depends on how you treat it. You know, I don't think you really can prepare. I've never been around guys that use soaked balls and all that stuff because they thought it was going to rain. They just figured you just got to catch the ball. If you're a receiver, got to catch it and protect it. If you're a running back,
Yep.
got to run with it and you got to protect it. And if you're the quarterback, you know, those guys, that ball just slipping out of your hands when there's a lot of traffic around you in the pocket. You got to take care of the ball.
Yeah, ball security always important, but obviously a little more difficult with slick conditions. You know, funny enough, Steve Sarkisian was actually asked about this on Thursday, and this will be our first bit of Sark sound for today's show. He was asked about preparing for some potential rainy conditions this afternoon in the swamp.
We always practice with wet balls every week. You know, we don't wait for the week of, you know, and that's something that our quarterbacks, running backs, work wet ball exchanges with the centers, you know, every week. Our receivers will catch wet balls at minimum once a week. And so, again, we're always trying to develop our guys. And so that when games like this show up, I think one of the mistakes you can make is, hey, it might rain Saturday, so let's practice with a wet ball all week. And you deal with some of that when you do that, well, now the timing's a little bit different. You know, the receivers are worried about catching a ball as opposed to maybe the route depth and the coverage. And then you show up Saturday and, you know, the storm never really hits or it sprinkles for a quarter and it's sunny the whole time. And you spend all this time on that. So I think you got to find the right balance in what it is. And then as a coach, you got to be adaptable at any game, you know, and so you go into ball games with a plan, and then you have contingency plans for anything that could occur, you know, and sometimes your center can't go and you got to start your backup center like we had to, and you play that. And so maybe some of the things that you did with your starting center is different when the backup center or your quarterback goes out, or it starts to rain, or it's really windy. You know, there's a million things that can show up on game day, and then you have to have the ability to adjust and be adaptable for what may present itself. And then you play the odds. You know, what are the odds? If it's supposed to rain a lot, then you kind of prepare for rain. If there's no rain in the forecast, you don't prepare as much for it. But again, you can't put all your eggs in one basket and then they come out in a different defense. Now, what are you going to do? You know, so you have to prepare for some things that, you know, that may be unforeseen. And then you prepare for some of the odds of what may occur. And then you try to put your players in the best position to have success.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, you don't have an opportunity, you know, in the state of Texas to find a place if you're going to some cold weather area. But I mean, no one's going to have the kind of weather, you know, in October that's going to be freezing. I mean, how do you prepare for that stuff? You just, if you can do that, and you can have a quarterback throw a couple wet balls, but you're not going to spend all week doing that because, as he said, it may not even rain. You know, you're screwing up your timing, and you're missing out on practice time because you're thinking it's going to rain. It never rains. You get there, and it's just a wonderful day, and now your timing's off a little bit. That's almost as silly as walking around campus with the ball into your arms because you fumbled the ball.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, that's. You know, if you can find ways to do that, soak a couple balls and throw it, that's fine. But you're not going to spend your whole practice. You're not going to spend 2.5 hours of practice with a bunch of balls in a tub of water throwing them around,
right?
Because it may never happen.
Yeah, I guess the good news is Steve Sarkisian says they practice with wet balls every week. I assume he was talking about the footballs, right?
Yeah, I mean, and
and sweat comment. He was
Yeah, I mean, and every week, I don't know. I've never been around anything like that where we, you know, no matter who you're going to play and no matter what the weather was you're going to spend a day having soaked and wet balls. I've never been around anybody that's done that. That seems kind of silly to me.
You talking about shower habits now, or are you talking about practice?
I'm talking about actual practice.
Okay.
Hey, this segment, we're going to wet the balls and see, you know, in our inside run drill and see if you running backs can hold on to the ball. I've never done that. That's just your job.
Yeah.
That's just how the way. I mean,
so you never practiced with
No.
wet balls?
no. I mean, you coaching football in Boston, you get to November, it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? How are you going to do that? Put the balls in ice and then hand it to the running backs? No.
I don't know.
You don't. You just say, hey, here it is. You've been playing football all your life. You've been in cold weather before. You've been in hot, sweaty weather. You've been in rain before.
Yeah.
Take care of the football. You don't have to over-exaggerate what's going to happen that may not even happen.
Yeah. Well, if there are rainy conditions today, this will be the first game of the 2025 season for Texas that has had weather.
That's true.
Potentially cause an impact, right? Perfect weather on the road in week 1 in Columbus, and it's been nothing but hot.
Absolutely.
Here in Austin for the 3 other non-conference games. But we'll see. Again, it's Florida. Maybe it rains for a little bit and it's dry. Maybe it doesn't rain at all. Maybe it rains the entire game.
That's true.
Who knows? But like Sark said, I mean, you got to prepare for everything, but you can't spend your entire week preparing for rain because you don't know if it's going to
that's
come.
just one of those things. You're freaking your players out for possibly no reason at all.
Right.
And as I said, these are young guys that have been playing this game for a long time, so they've been in bad weather. It's not like they've never played in the rain before.
Right.
They've had to handle football in high school or whatever it was when they've come to Texas. It's rained at practice, so they understand what it's all about. You don't have to have perfect conditions. You're not playing indoors.
Right.
You don't get that. You're not in a dome setting. Today you're going to be outside, and the possibility of rain is there. So you just go and play.
No doubt about that. All right, well, let's talk about this Florida team. We'll obviously spend plenty of time talking about Texas and things we want to see from the Longhorns this afternoon, but it has been a very disappointing year for the Florida Gators. They may be the most disappointing team in college football through the first month and change of the 2025 season. 1-3 on the year. They opened up the season with a 55-0 win over FCS Long Island. Since then, they've lost 3 in a row, a home loss to South Florida, a directional school in their own state, and then back-to-back losses at LSU and at Miami. The Gators, like the Longhorns, coming off a bye, so they've had 2 weeks to get some guys healthy and 2 weeks to prepare for this game, but Florida has really struggled. And, Buck, their struggles have been on the offensive side of the football. Mentioned they scored 55 in the season opener, but in the 3 FBS games that they've played, 16 points against USF, 10 against LSU, 7 against Miami. They're going in the wrong direction, and that's why they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, Long Island, as close to football as I thought they had, was a tough tennis team. That's, I mean, really.
I thought the Giants and the Jets were the closest thing they had to football.
Oh, my goodness, it's just hard to believe.
Yeah.
That they scored those kind of points against Long Island. I think they would have struggles against Westlake right now. But offensively, they like I said, they've had their struggles. They've got a really nice running back. Their offensive line has been up and down. We talk about the Texas line and what kind of physicality they play with. That offensive line from Florida right now is just a jumbled mess. They really, really are. The quarterback, we know what's going on with him. He's really, really struggled. And most of his struggles have come, as we found out. And I think people around football understand if a guy's always banged up, if he's always got a foot in a boot or he's got a knee problem or a shoulder problem, he never gets a chance to get a bunch of reps in. You never gets reps at practice, much less, and they throw you into a game. And in game setting, it's totally different than what you would get at practice. Lagway's a young guy who needed to have reps in practice, but he hasn't been able to even stay on the practice field because he's been hurt so much.
Yep.
So that really has set them back. It set him back, but it's also set this football team back for sure.
Yeah, their offense ranks dead last in the SEC in points per game. And that includes, again, the 55 they scored in the season opener.
Oh, yeah.
They've averaged just over 10 points per game against FBS competition this year. They're second to last in the SEC in total offense. They're third to last in terms of passing and rushing yards per game. Any way you slice it, any way you dice it, it's all been bad for the Gators. And obviously the Texas defense is one of the best in America. So that's a matchup on paper, but you feel pretty good about it if you're a Longhorn fan.
Whether it's raining, sleet, snow, it doesn't matter with this Texas defense. They've really come to play over the last 3 years. They haven't had very many struggles. The 1 year we worried just before making the semifinals about that secondary. Everything's been solid on this defense. I mean, from the safeties to linebacker play to rush ends, they've just been solid all around. And the depth on this team has been incredible too. So this is you're playing to your strength when you're for Florida. They're playing against their real weakness is them trying to score points against this Texas defense.
Yeah. And
offensively, with their struggles, that is going to be a problem. As I said, it won't matter what the weather is. I think they'll struggle a little bit, but I think it's going to be a close football game. I think Florida will come to play today. This is not about playing for their coach. They can do all they want. This whole thing about playing for Billy Napier. This is about a Florida team that has some really talented athletes that on any given Saturday, they can kind of come together and give you a problem on the defensive front. Offensively, it's going to be a coin flip of what you're going to see from them on offense, I believe.
Yeah, I think a coin flip is nice to Florida
Yes.
with the way that they've played so far this year. And, DJ Lagway, the 5-star quarterback who was the number 1 QB in the country in the recruiting class after Arch Manning was the number 1 QB in the country. He's been awful this year. 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions this season. He had 5 picks in one game, that loss in Death Valley at LSU. He followed it up with just 61 yards passing in Florida's most recent loss to Miami, and 3 of his 5 touchdowns came against Long Island. So only 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions against FBS teams this year. He's been awful. And you think of like a lot of the things we've talked about with Arch Manning. The mechanics haven't looked great. The footwork has been off. The accuracy hasn't been where you've wanted it to be. Like, think about Arch Manning and then multiply that by 3. That's how bad DJ Lagway has been this year.
Well, the thing about Arch Manning, at least he's had time to be on the field.
Yeah.
He's practiced. As I said, this kid's always in a boot. He's always got some soft tissue injury, shoulder problems, hamstring problems, calf muscle problems at the beginning of the season. Before they even started, he had a calf problem that set him back a little bit during summer practices. And you pay for that as a quarterback. There's other positions, BK, I think that you can get away with some of that kind of stuff. You can be injured here and there and just get in the game and let your natural ability show off. With the position of quarterback where you have to lead a team for long drives and long periods of time down the field. He doesn't have any experience doing it. He's never around to do it.
No, and look, he played in a lot of games last year.
Yes, he did. And when he played in those games and when he did get his reps in, he was pretty good at the end of the season.
That sounds like Arch Manning, right?
Yes.
I mean, DJ Lagway played more in 2024 than Arch did. But
yes, he did.
I think why Florida fans are so confused with how bad Lagway's been, he was good last year. And he was really good at throwing the deep ball last year. That was a huge part of Florida's offense, and that was supposed to be one of the strengths of their teams this season. DJ Lagway has thrown 123 passes this year. Only 7 of them have traveled more than 20 yards in the air. That's fewer than any quarterback in college football.
Yeah, and some of the things that have happened to him is his couple of his receivers have been banged up too.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of them will be back today, but he's missed out on some wide receivers that at least would give him an opportunity to throw the ball down the field. There's nobody to throw to. He hasn't practiced enough, but this is the week that they get a couple guys back. So this could be a little bit different today.
You want to hear some coach speak?
Give me some.
Here's Steve Sarkisian talking about Florida quarterback DJ Lagway and how good he is.
He's a very talented player. Obviously we recruited him really hard coming out of high school, out of Willis, and had a fantastic high school career. I don't think the agenda was to play him as a true freshman, right? They had a transfer in who ended up getting injured, and DJ steps in. I think he goes 6 or 7-1 as a true freshman starting quarterback. High expectations coming back, and probably hasn't gone the way he, Coach Napier, everybody would have liked. But what I do know is the competitor and the talent is still in there, and so we better be mindful and better be ready to get the best version of DJ Lagway. I know the competitor that he is. I know the coach that Billy is, and they've been scheming people up. They just maybe haven't been hitting them here the first few games, but they're gonna attack us, and they're gonna attack us down the field with multiple shifts and motions and things. And so we got to do a great job stopping the run, but we better be cautious and aware of them throwing the ball down the field.
Yeah, they're going. Okay, coach. They're going to try everything they can. That's what they're going to do. They're going to throw it down the field.
Yeah.
They're going to find out if their running game can run against Texas, which we know that's a problem unto itself. They got a really nice runner, but they don't have a great offensive line. They will take their shots. They don't have any choice. They don't have the. I don't think this team has the ability to just grind it out for long periods of time against the Texas defense.
Yeah.
So they've got to take a chance, and and whether he throws a pick or not or whatever, he's going to have to throw it down there. And especially if his wide receivers, if a couple guys are healthy, why not? What's the difference? Five interceptions one way or 4 interceptions the other. I mean, they have to do some things. As I said, I don't think this is a team, and I don't think it's a quarterback that's been on the field enough to have sustained drives. 8-9 minute drives. I just don't think they can do that. They have to try to score quickly.
Yeah, I can't figure out why they haven't tried that yet. Like, I don't disagree with you. I think they need to be taking some deep shots, but against LSU and against Miami, two teams that they were underdogs against, two teams with very good defenses. They didn't take those shots.
Yeah, well, against Miami, they didn't have anybody to take the shots with. The guys were banged up.
They were only down one receiver who's a true freshman who has not played this year yet. He was a top 40 recruit in the country. His name's Dallas Wilson. He's very fast, but he's the only guy that they haven't had on offense, and they're still not taking shots down the field.
My thing is, I'm more surprised. And forget the shots. I'm more surprised that they haven't got their running back going ball. He's a pretty good running back. I mean, he's a good running back for anybody's team. You'd love to have a guy like that on your team. The ability to make you miss and some strength to go along with it. But he's been more of a plotter this year because, well, I mean, he can't carry it every down. And as I said, they're not gonna get down the field and score points with him, having 40 or 50 carries in the game. That's just not what kind of guy he is. And the offensive line isn't. They're just pushing down the field. They're not as bad as what we expect, what we see from Texas at time when it comes to opening up gaping holes for the running back to get through every once in a while.
Yeah.
This group is just holding on for dear life.
They are dog shit. You say holding on for dear life. I'll say their offense is dog shit.
Yeah, that's really, they've had a real struggle offensively.
To your point, though, about the running back, Jaden Ball, I do think he's one of the best players on the team.
I do too.
And it's pretty interesting because you look at Florida's rushing stats, they're not good. They're 14th out of 16 teams in the SEC in running the football. Despite that, Jaden Ball has 21 forced missed tackles this year. That's top 15 in the country, and 13 of the guys who rank ahead of Jaden Ball have played 5 games instead of 4. So this guy has made a lot of people miss this year. The reason why his rushing stats are so bad is because Florida's offensive line has created 0 holes.
It's almost like, why don't you just continue to give him the ball?
Well, because he's getting hit in the backfield, he's breaking a tackle, and he's falling forward for 2 yards. Yeah. And that's basically been their run game this year.
Yeah, and of course for Lagway, I mean, his ability to get out of the pocket and go, he's going to have to do a lot of that today.
Yeah.
Because I expect Texas to kind of gear it up and crank it up a little bit to get after him.
Problem is, I think DJ Lagway, maybe part of this is him being hurt in the offseason and not being able to work out as much. Or maybe this was an effort for him to be more durable, right? You put on more weight to try to be a little bit more durable to get through a long college football season. Pretty big.
Yeah, I mean,
he's about 250 pounds. He's not running this year like he did last year either. So he's not throwing the deep ball. He's not taking off and running. Like the two things that I think made him really difficult to stop in 2024, that's not really part of his game right now.
Oh, it's incredible. In 24, it seemed like he had a lot of experience. He played a lot of downs, later in the season. He got them on a winning streak. But now all of a sudden it's like he hasn't played at all again. It's like a freshman starting all over.
Yeah.
But the guy has played in true games. He's been in a couple real big time football games, but he doesn't play that way. He doesn't. He seems like a guy that needs more reps. But his time is starting to run out.
Right. Well,
his more reps time is starting to run out, and it's time for his head coach to be around to give him those reps is starting to run out also.
I guess the one concern for Texas is Florida's had 2 weeks to get ready for this game. Now, again, the Longhorns have also had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, but maybe they've been able to figure some things out on offense, get a couple of guys back healthy. But, I mean, if this Florida offense looks anything like we've seen through the first month of the year, and this Texas defense looks anything like what we've seen through the first month of the year, I mean, I think Texas has a better defense than Miami. I think Texas has a better defense than LSU, and the stats back that up. And Florida scored 10 against LSU and 7 against Miami. Now, those games were on the road.
Right.
And this game's at home for the Gators. So maybe that makes a little bit of a difference. But
I mean, is this going to be one of those backs against the wall kind of games, or it's not really going to matter?
I thought the last 2 were backs against the wall games, and they lost both of them. So maybe it is. Their coach is on an incredibly hot seat, and I think there is a scenario where Julian Napier can get fired tomorrow. I think if you're a Longhorn fan, that's the goal, because that means Texas not only wins this game, but wins this game going away. So, yeah, maybe it's whether you're playing for your coach, you're playing for NIL money, you're playing for your own pride, your family, your school, whatever it is. Maybe this is one of those, your backs are about as backed up against the wall as they could possibly be.
Well, you're 1-3. Yes, you want to have a nice finish in the SEC. You're 1-3 right now on your season. And, your back is against – every time they play, their backs are against the wall right now.
And their next game is in College Station.
Oh, and they've got a few after this game too.
They still have Georgia. I think they still have Tennessee on the schedule. I mean, there's a few more losses coming Florida's way, regardless of what happens today.
There's no doubt.
So we'll see. But again, on paper, I mean, whether you're talking about the Florida rushing offense against the Texas rushing defense or the Florida passing offense against the Texas secondary, any way you slice it, it's advantage Texas. So that's what you feel good about if you're a Longhorn fan, right? Your defense is going to travel. We saw that in 3 road games in the SEC last year. We saw it in week 1 against Ohio State. Texas didn't lose in Columbus because their defense didn't show up. They lost because of the offense. And obviously we'll flip the script and talk about Arch Manning and the Longhorn offense in a moment. But you feel like this defense gives you a chance, even against great offenses, and Florida doesn't have that.
Yeah, oh no, the defense comes to play, whether it's home, away, whether they're playing against a good offense or a bad offense. This team defensively has played well, as I said, for the last 3 years. This is what people come to expect when they watch Texas football now, is that the defense is going to be there, and they're going to be there pretty strong. Even if you have a good offense, you're going to have to struggle, because they're not going to let you just walk down the field. And the longer you have to march down the field, the more apt it is the Texas defense is going to – it may bend a little bit, but it doesn't break, and it won't do that today. But I just think that we'll see a Florida team that will play some really good defense today themselves.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting part of the matchup. Hit us up on the Coda text line, 512-222-9328. Of course, the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live chat is rocking and rolling as well, brought to you by our great friends at Clean Cause. Again, we are broadcasting live from Lavaca Street Bar on South Lamar. If you're looking for a place to watch Texas and Florida or any of the college football action all afternoon and night long, this is the place to be. One of my favorite spots in the city, some great drinks, TVs everywhere, and, of course, great food as well from Thunder Chief. Fantastic spot. Come watch the games with us today. And, of course, our pregame show brought to you by our friends at Covert Bee Cave and Audio-Visual Consultations. All right, Buck. Well, before we flip the script and talk about the Texas offense, well, we've been talking about the Texas defense. Let's give our defensive player of the game prediction, brought to you by our great friends at Kenfield Golf Cars. We'll tell you a little bit more about them in a moment, but you have the honors, my friend. Who is your pick for Texas player of the game?
I'm going to take Anthony Hill. He's got to his speed has got to show up today. You know, if you got a quarterback that's having some problems, this is a guy who gives your quarterback a little bit more problems. And whether the weather's bad or whatever, this is a guy who needs to cause some havoc when it comes to turnovers. I mean, I expect him to be all over the place, from the inside, the outside. BK, I expect him to move him around, and I expect him to follow Lagway around too. If Lagway starts to get to moving and get out of the pocket, I expect him to have a spy, and Anthony Hill will be the guy that will be able to do that. So he's going to be my guy today.
I like that pick. Yeah, Anthony Hill, only 16 tackles through 4 games this year. He hasn't looked like the preseason All-American, and he hasn't looked like a guy who ended last year as an All-American.
Absolutely not.
Part of me thinks Texas has been saving him a little bit. Snap counts in the last 3 games.
And maybe he saved himself.
Maybe he saved himself. Yeah, I mean, I have got all the confidence in the world. We've got enough footage of Anthony Hill in his first 2 years as a Texas Longhorn to know what he's capable of. So I like that pick. I'm with you. I think Anthony Hill has a great day today. I'm going to go with Michael Taft. I'm going to go with another one of the preseason All-Americans.
There you go.
Maybe some low-hanging fruit here, going with 2 of the best players on the Texas defense. But I think Michael Taft has a great game today. Look, I expect DJ Lagway to turn it over multiple times.
Sure.
I think Michael Taft is going to walk away with an interception. I think he's going to be one of the team leaders in tackles, and he's one of the leaders on this defense. I think he's going to bring it today, and I think the 10 guys around him are going to show up as well. So big day for Michael Taft.
I would agree with you on that. I would think Michael Taft would be very close to the line of scrimmage today, because when he seems to be around the balls that are loose. They can take some chances, because I don't think anybody can get behind this secondary anyway, or they're not going to have enough time to get behind the Texas secondary. So I would agree with you on that. I see Michael Taft as getting 1 or 2 interceptions today, hit balls and everything else. And if the ball gets on the ground in a fumble, I expect him to be around the football also.
I also expect Bill Belichick to be single after today's game.
Boy, this girl is not going to want anything to do with them.
Are you seeing the score? I think
know.
Jordan Hudson's going to leave Bill for Dabo the way this game's going. 34-3
you think
in the first half.
Dabo's on the hit list now?
Yeah. Dabo after the game is going to be so confident.
Of
He's going
course,
to be talking so much shit. You guys wanted to fire me. Look what I just did against the greatest NFL coach of all time.
Yeah, and they're good buddies. That's the thing.
And it's like Bill Belichick in college, dude.
He is sticking him big time in the first half.
35-3. Clemson with the lead over North Carolina in Chapel Hill. They're not going to be calling it Chapel Hill for much longer, I don't think. All right, our defensive player of the game predictions. Look at that. There are people. I don't think that's like going to the bathroom or the concession stand
they're gone,
before halftime. That is like, we're getting the hell out of here. This game is over. That is embarrassing for North
Beautiful
Carolina.
day in Carolina. They're headed out.
Hey, basketball season starts next month, Tar Heel fans. Shout out to Kenfield Golf Cars. If you are in the market for a newer pre-owned golf cart, we've got some good news. Our friends at Kenfield Golf Cars are right around the corner. They were founded back in 1979. They've got an unparalleled selection of different golf carts available in new or used. They want to turn your golf cart ideas into reality. No job too big, no job too small for their team, whether it's turning your existing golf cart into your own design or letting them build a golf cart that fits your family's needs. Nobody does it better than Kenfield Golf Cars. Check
Absolutely.
out their website, kenfieldgolfcars.com, for more info, or you can give them a call, 258-8515. Make sure you tell them that Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. All right, well, we can do our first round of scoreboard updates here, brought to you by our friends at Gobundance. This scoreboard update powered by Gobundance, where elite men build wealth, brotherhood, and a life without limits. We'll tell you more about them in a moment. But we mentioned the Clemson-North Carolina score. A couple of other games going on right now. Georgia looking for a bounce back against Kentucky, and they are up 21-7 in Athens very late in the second quarter there. Big upset brewing in Cincinnati. The Bearcats
getting after it again.
They're crushing Iowa State 31-7. Iowa State a perfect 5-0, ranked in the top 15. They look like a college football playoff contender. They're not looking like that right now. They were getting smoked at Cincinnati. Michigan leading Wisconsin 10-7 at halftime. Offense optional in that one. And your Illinois Fighting Illini, the other ranked game going on right now, they lead Purdue 27-14.
A lot of scores, a lot of points in the first half in some of these games.
A lot of points going on in some of these games. Your thoughts on some of these games coming up this afternoon and this evening, starting in the SEC, 2:30, Alabama and Vanderbilt. Of course, the biggest upset in college football last year was Vandy taking down Alabama. Crimson Tide looking for some revenge. You think Vandy has any shot to make it happen again?
No, I think they get their comeuppance for sure.
Roll Tide?
Roll Tide, yes.
Bama's a 12.5-point favorite, so Vegas agrees with you there.
Yeah, I think they're going to push the ball down the field with the quarterback who's playing as good as anybody in the country right now.
Okay.
And with their great wide receivers, that ball is going north and south today. There's not going to be a lot of sideways stuff, not a lot of east and west in this game. I think their quarterback will throw for a lot of yards today against Vandy's defense.
I think Vandy's going to cover. I think this will be a close game, but I do think Alabama finds a way to get.
You like
Cinderella
Cinderella stories?
I do like Cinderella stories.
Yeah.
We all like Cinderella stories, don't we?
No, not really.
You're the biggest Vanderbilt leader I know.
Oh, sorry about that, Pavia.
You must have not gotten in. And we do know you do hate Mexicans. Sorry, new Mexicans. Maybe not Mexicans, but new Mexicans.
New Mexicans. There you go.
That's why you're anti-Diego Pavia. That's an SEC game going on. Oklahoma hosting Kent State. Of course, 7 days from now, we'll be in Dallas for Texas OU. OU a 46.5-point favorite there. Obviously, no John Mateer, but shouldn't be a problem for the Sooners today.
Well, they can get their quarterback there. I mean, if Mateer's not going to play, they need to get their quarterback going in this game.
Yeah.
What a nice game for him to come in and play.
Mike Hawk.
Yeah, Mike Hawk needs to have a fantastic game against Kent today.
Yep. Kent, not a state.
Yes.
And then tonight, Texas A&M hosting Mississippi State. Battle of the maroon and white SEC teams. The Aggies, number 6 in the country.
And you know how I feel about them.
They're 16.5-point favorites. Money's been coming in on the Ags all week long.
Yeah, and I think it'll continue to come on. I think for a Mississippi State team that's playing really, really well this season, undefeated, correct?
No.
They're 4-1.
Yeah,
Aggies undefeated.
they lost to Tennessee in overtime last week.
That's right. I see this as being a game that the Aggies will take advantage of Mississippi State and their cowbell ringing selves.
I'm surprised you didn't bring your milkman costume today.
Yeah, man. We want the Aggies to just keep on going, keep on cranking it up.
Yeah.
For that big showdown at the end of the season.
And I know
for the big letdown.
For the big letdown here in Austin.
Man.
I know we've got a couple of Texas Tech fans in the house tonight, 6 o'clock on ESPN. Battle of unbeaten Big 12 teams. Texas Tech at Houston. Give the Cougs any chance at the upset here?
No, this is Wreckham Tech tonight.
No question.
No question.
Somebody the other day asked me, what's the biggest change NIL has made in college football? And I said it gave Texas Tech a defense. They've got one of the best defenses in the country.
Boy, can they come out flying around in the football.
Yeah.
They are strong at the point of attack when it comes to teams trying to run on them. And they are physical when it comes to when they make contact with guys.
Yep.
That's money well spent for Texas Tech right now.
It's worked so far. Baron Morton, their starting quarterback, is back.
He's healthy.
He's healthy for now. Right?
Yeah.
He got hurt in the Utah game, but the backup, Will Hammond, looked pretty good.
Yes.
But it'll be Baron Morton to start tonight. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if we've ever seen Texas A&M, and Texas Tech all ranked in the top 11. That's what we have right now.
Well, the state of Texas and TCU is playing
looks
well.
Pretty good. Yep. Baylor sucks. That's normal.
So that's normal.
Houston is 4-0 also. They're not ranked
right
now, but they're off to a pretty good start this season. So, a lot of good football being played in the Lone Star State right now. SMU, obviously, a playoff team last year.
That's true.
So, there you go. So, there are your scoreboard updates. Obviously, we'll keep you posted on these 11 a.m. at Central Time games as we continue through our pregame show. But our scoreboard update brought to you by Gobundance. Texas football is built on legends, from DKR setting the standard to Mac Brown bringing home a national title to Vince Young and Colt McCoy leading by example. The Longhorn way is more than talent. It's about discipline, brotherhood, and rising to the occasion. That's the same spirit behind Gobundance, a community of high-achieving men, business professionals, investors, and leaders who push each other to win, not just in business, but in life. If you're ready to live like a champion, then Gobundance is your team. Join the tribe today at gobundance.com/TSU. That's GOBUNDANCE.com/TSU.
Sweet.
All right, back to Texas and Florida. Taking a quick look at the Clean Cause comment line. Now we got a comment that says, gotta develop the run game. So let's talk about the Texas offense going up against the Florida defense. To this point in the year, 2025 Florida, Buck, reminds me a lot of 2024 Oklahoma, where their defense is really good. Their record's not very good. It's not because the defense is playing bad. It's because the offense is so bad that they're just not bringing anything to the table.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter what the defense does on Saturdays. It's not going to be enough to win a lot of football games. That, to me, is kind of what Florida is this year. Their defense has been really solid. They're only giving up 16 points per game. And by the way, that's kind of inflated by a DJ Lagway pick 6. So it's actually less than that the defense has given up. They're top 5 in the conference in scoring defense. They're top 6 in total defense. They've been pretty good on that side of the ball. So this would be a good test for Arch Manning and the Texas offense today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is an opportunity. After what happened the last time this Texas football team took the field, they had a lot of success doing anything that they wanted to. This has just got to be a carryover, BK. This can't be one of those where you had a great game, no matter who it is, Sam Houston or whoever you play, it goes to Sam Houston. You have to continue to do on the success that you had. You can't all of a sudden now all of a sudden let's start all over again. Now we got Florida. Now we're playing against some real talented players. Let's start all over again. We're going to slow things down. We're going to struggle here and there. It's going to be a tough enough struggle on the road as it is. You can't. You got to take the success that you had and just keep building on that. And they really, truly have to build on the run game. This is a game that I don't think you can get away with averaging 2 yards a clip here and win a football game in a swamp. I don't think that's possible. I think you're going to have some big plays. You get your star running back, which is time. We haven't seen him since August. So it's a great opportunity for them to run the ball. I mean, and for me, it's about first down runs. When they turn around and hand this ball off on first downs, this can't be stuff. It can't be second and 9 or 2nd and 10. You have to make, you got to get 4 and 5 yards on first down runs. So it makes it easy on your quarterback today.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And like you said, Trey Wisner was listed as probable on last night's injury report, but by all accounts, he will be returning for the Longhorns this afternoon.
That's a big boost for them.
That's the good news. The bad news is C.J. Baxter is out today. He was doubtful on Thursday's injury report, and he was downgraded to out on Friday night's injury report.
So, in my mind, I didn't have him playing anyway in this particular game. I thought it'd be a couple of weeks for him.
Yeah, so Texas getting one of its top running backs back. And here's Steve Sarkisian. Earlier this week, he was asked about Trey Wisner, and first he's talking about his health, but then he talks about what Wisner brings to this Longhorn offense. Here's what the head coach had to say.
Now that we're in SEC play, now we're into the availability reports that we give out on Wednesdays, which is a great thing. you guys don't have to waste a question on injuries, and I can put out a report on Wednesday and later in the week. But he's progressing really well, and we've been pleased about his progress of where he's at. You know, Trey provides a lot for us. Obviously, a great deal of experience. You know, he's played in this league, you know, last year, our first year in, and he was a 1,000-yard rusher for us. You know, he provides a great deal of confidence. He provides a great deal of toughness. You know, as much as Trey is not the biggest guy, he plays with a real sense of physicality in his approach to it. And so anytime you get that experience, especially going on the road, and you get it during practice, I think it's helpful for all the other guys as well. So very similar to DeAndre getting back into the lineup, I think we get some of that in the backfield with Trey, in the sense of confidence and belief in not only himself but the guys around him that are going to play at a high level.
You know, he's 100% and ready to go, then you let him carry the ball like you're going to let him carry for the remainder of the football season.
Yeah.
Just go play.
Definitely.
You come out, you need a blow for a series or a couple plays, you do that. If you don't, and get in the game and let's go.
Well, this is a big game for Texas, right? I mean, we know what's at stake next weekend, but look, every SEC game counts the same.
Yes, they do.
I mean, you're trying to get back to Atlanta, competing for a conference championship, obviously trying to get back to the college football playoff.
You're not saving anybody. This is not the game to save anybody today.
No, and I hate the term must win when it's not actually a must win. Today's not a must win. Texas can lose today and still get to the SEC title game. They could still get to the college football playoff, but this is one of the weaker teams on Texas's schedule.
Well, I'll just say this. If they don't get this game, they're not getting to the playoffs. Because there's other games that are going to be a little bit tougher than what you're going to see tonight.
That's kind of how I feel too.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't beat a bad Florida team who's 1-3. And I think Florida is going to have a coach get fired before the year is done. And I think the Gators are going to end the season with a losing record.
I agree.
So you lose to a 500 or a 5-7 type of team. I don't care that it's on the road. Like that's already your second loss. This would be a different conversation if Texas was 4-0. Right? They beat that. They beat Ohio State in week 1. Then it's like, all right, you still have a couple of mulligans left. You don't want to lose today, but you can cough this one up and you still feel like you're in a pretty good spot. You lose today, you get your second loss of the season.
And you don't feel like you're in a good spot. Well, people around you don't feel like you're in a good spot.
No, we'll be on the show Monday talking about this not being a playoff.
No,
game.
we'll be back to, is this going to be 7-5? What is this going to be?
It's going to be that bad for you?
Well, it could be. It could be. You lose to this group today. It could be.
Yeah, that would. That'd be
we did have numbers in the beginning of the season that we talked about. Yeah, and we probably thought this team is where they should be anyway, numbers wise. But if you end up losing this game, we could be talking back to the whole 7-5 thing, 8-4.
Yeah, 3-2 going into OU is not what we wanted, right?
No.
You felt like that was worst case scenario. You knew Texas
Correct.
wasn't going to lose to San Jose or UTEP or Sam Houston, but at Ohio State, at Florida, 2 hostile environments. Florida was a top 15 team in the preseason poll, so you're worried about these potentially being losses, but I thought they'd be a couple of wins for Texas.
No doubt.
And now seeing the way Florida has played, I feel like this has to be a win for Texas.
Yeah, in some way, and for me, once again, I'm not looking at how you win it. Just this is one of those, you need to win the game.
Yeah.
You need to go into go on the road, a place you haven't been in 80 years, and win that game at a stadium that you haven't seen, you haven't been around. You don't know what the fans are like. The fans could be apathetic and could care less today, or they're just going to be good fans and back their team to win, to beat Texas.
I think you want the fans to turn against Billy Napier.
Yes.
Like that's the hope, right? I think going into this game, the fans are going to be excited. Like you said, first time Texas has been in town in 85
years. They'll just
years.
get excited about the 2 programs.
But you want Texas to go in there and throw the first couple of punches, and then all of a sudden it feels like that fan base is starting to root for Texas.
Yeah, and a group of players that if it starts to go downhill, it just continues to go downhill for them.
Again, I've made this comparison a couple of times on our show this week, and this is pretty apples to oranges, but Texas has a chance to do what Notre Dame did to Arkansas last week.
Absolutely.
That was a splintered fan base, obviously a coach on a very hot seat. It's funny enough, Texas is now only a 4.5-point favorite against Florida. The line opened at about 6.5 to 7. When the Notre Dame-Arkansas game kicked off last week, Buck, Notre Dame was a 4.5-point favorite at Arkansas. They won 56-13. Sam Pittman got fired the next day. So I'm not predicting. I don't have the cojones to predict that to happen, but that just happened last week to a desperate fan base. Everyone's like, Arkansas's got their backs against the wall. They got to play for their coach. They just laid an egg, and they gave up. They quit in that football game.
Yeah, sometimes you just, you want to do something for your coach. You're just not talented enough to do it.
Right.
It's just the way it is. And
I don't think Notre Dame's much better than Texas.
No.
2-loss football team we're talking about.
No, this is a great opportunity for Texas to go in there and get a win. Yep. Get the win any way you can, but actually look good against a bad team.
That'd be nice.
You just need to look good against a bad team. You came out of 2 weeks ago looking pretty good against a team that you were just outmanned.
A dead guy.
Yeah.
Sam Houston.
Yeah, you played against the ghost of Sam Houston.
Yeah.
You should treat this group like the ghost of Sam Houston, actually.
That'd be nice.
Because this team is playing like a bunch of ghosts right now. So keep them down. As I said, you make a couple things happen, get on them early, and you need to score early. You need to get out to a really fast start. Not a bunch of, what's. No.
What? Say it.
I can't. No, we can't.
It's game day. Come on. Say it.
Not a lot of penalties.
There it is.
You're going to be on the road. You're going to get penalized more than they're going to get penalized. And they're a bad team. They should get more penalties, but it won't happen because you're on the road. You're in Gainesville. you're going to get hammered with that kind of stuff.
They
so
could play the game here at Lavaca Street Bar in Texas, would still have more penalties.
that's true.
It doesn't matter. It could be a DKR.
Yeah, that's right. What am I thinking about? All of a sudden you play well at home. You don't have any penalties at home. No, you're right.
No,
they're going to have their penalties.
They had more penalties in the 3 home games than they did in the road
All right,
game.
Too much P talk.
Too much P talk.
Yeah, can't talk about that. We can't.
What is this, Tom Herman?
We can't.
That kind of P talk? Is that what you're talking about here?
We can't say the P word. We're not going to. We're not going to have a bunch of those today. This is going to be a very clean game by the Horns.
That's your prediction or that's your hope?
I'm not predicting it.
Okay.
This is not a smart team. I'm not predicting that.
No.
I'm just hoping they can get away with the ones that they're going to have and win the football game.
Yeah, they rank in the 120th.
Wow.
They being Texas in penalties per game and penalty yards per game.
It's amazing.
Second to last in the SEC in both of those categories. So, and the only team they're ahead of is Mississippi State, who won 0 conference games last season.
Man.
They've won 0 this season as well. So not the company you really.
No, that's not who you want to keep company with, is for sure.
No, you talked about getting off to a fast start, though. I think that's the key for every game. And Steve Sarkisian kind of said that in his Thursday presser, talking about the importance of Texas landing the first punch this afternoon.
I feel like it's always important. I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd already told you we'd kick off 3 and out, they punt it, and we get good field position and go score, right? And then I know I'm getting the ball to start the second half. But it'd be great, and it's like I said, it's a great environment, and anytime you can neutralize a crowd, it's obviously very helpful when you can do that and controlling the ball and trying to create some explosive plays and creating turnovers on defense and doing some things to try to take some of the air out of a crowd. I think is important. But probably more important to start fast is this is a good team. And, you want to maximize your opportunities that you're going up when you're playing against a team like this, because you don't know how many you have. And so, their ability to run the football and possess the ball is one of their strengths. And so how many possessions are there going to be in the game? You need to maximize those opportunities. You need to score touchdowns in the red area. We need to create some vertical field position, and with our special teams unit, they're very good as well. So there's a lot of storylines to this game, one of which is starting fast, and it's it'd be great if we can do that. If we don't, that's not the end of the world. We can still play good and still win a game, but it would be nice to start fast and to kind of strike first and be in attack mode that way.
Yeah, this is not a good team, Coach. That's a bad team you're playing today. Make them look bad.
You heard him laugh after he said that.
I know. I mean, make them look bad. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make this team look bad, and you're supposed to capitalize on the success that you had the last time you were on the field with your football team.
Yeah.
You just do. I mean, too many good things happened for your team a couple of weeks ago, BK, and that shouldn't stop now because you're playing against Florida.
That was the game against Sam Houston that you're talking about.
Yes.
Of course, the 55-0 shutout at DKR 2 weeks ago. That was the first game this year where Texas scored on its first possession. And only the 10th time in the last 34 games that the Longhorns have scored points on their first possession. So you could talk about starting fast, but Texas, unfortunately, has not been good enough at starting fast in the last 3 years of the Steve Sarkisian era. Now, they've won a lot of games. They haven't lost a lot.
That's right.
So like Sark said, you can overcome a slow start and still find a way to win games. Texas has done a lot of that, but it would be really nice. Again, that is a splintered fan base. Right, of course, you want to start fast to give Arch Manning and your offense some confidence. Like, hey, we are picking up where we left off against Sam Houston. But also, if you could take the crowd out of the game, playing in front of a sellout, 100,000 plus,
and they want to be out of the game.
Right.
Believe me, most of those fans in the stands for Florida want to be taken out of the game right now.
It'd be nice to do that,
so they can talk about who they're going to be the next coach at Florida. That's what they'd like to do.
Yeah.
So give them an opportunity to just take it. Just let them feel it.
This is an offensive group that just needs to show that they can perform against good teams.
I agree.
It's as simple as that. Like they played one good team this year, and they scored 7 points. And their offense, I mean, it took them 2.5 quarters to get anything going. Now, that was the number 1 team, the defending champs on the road. This is not, but still, against SEC, this type of competition, you haven't proven that you can offense well. This is the opportunity.
Yeah,
to do
I will
that.
say this: the hits that the Longhorns will take today will be different than the hits that they took against Sam Houston, UTEP. I mean, these guys hit differently.
Yeah, they do.
These are different. This is a different type of athlete. So they may not be playing really well together, but individually they have some players that will hit you, and they will hit you hard. And it won't be the same kind of, the love taps you took against Sam Houston. This will be different. So you've got to protect. As I said, you got to protect yourself, and you got to protect the ball. and you got to expect that you're going to get hit hard. This is not like this last 3 weeks that the teams you played over the last 3 games.
One more nugget on Texas starting fast. The Longhorns are 20-1 under Steve Sarkisian when scoring first. You take those odds?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, that'd be nice. They get off to a good start.
Hell, I'm just looking for a win. I'm not looking for field goal. I'm looking for a 1 point. I'm looking for a win. This team needs to just keep winning.
I want to be a great team. I don't want to just be a good team.
Yeah, I know what you like. A great teams. Great teams cover.
Yeah, good teams win, great teams cover. I'm not trying to be a good team this year. This is the preseason #1 team in the country. I want to be great. That's what I'm looking for here.
This team has a lot to move forward to be back to that ranking of #1 team in the country.
No doubt.
They are. I'm not going to say they're that far away, but they're not that close either right now.
Their defense is close.
Their defense has always been there.
The offense is far away. But again,
Yes.
like, this is a chance. Okay, you've had 3 games and a month since Ohio State.
You're absolutely right. You had some time off.
Yeah, clean some things up. Got a couple of guys back in this
Absolutely
game.
right.
Show that you can be one of the best offenses in college football as well. Real quick, I want to give this stat. Well, I want to ask you this first and then give this stat. And a lot of people have used the words trap game to talk about this. Of course, Florida's having a bad start. They're 1-3. Their coach is on a very hot seat. We know what game is up next for Texas. Are you at all worried that there could be some sort of overlooking and this could be some sort of trap opportunity for the Horns?
Well, if the offense was really, really good, I would think so. But the offense is still trying to find its way. So there's no such thing as a trap. Every snap they take is a meaningful snap. So I don't think there's any trap to it. The defense has played well. Even in games that they've called trap games that the Longhorns have won over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
The defense has been there. They've been shining for years. This offense is still trying to find its way. So there's no trap. It's just an opportunity to just get a little bit better.
So it's interesting. I went and looked back at, this is obviously year 5 for Steve Sarkisian. I went and looked at the previous 4 years, the game before the Oklahoma game, right? How has Texas fared in the game before Red River? They're 4-0. They're 4-0. Some of their best wins, even in 2021 when they went 5-7, they barely won shit that year.
Right.
They won the game before Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's almost like this. They get prepared to play that game.
Yeah.
So up in Dallas.
Everyone's talking about like Oklahoma's next week. They might be overlooking this one.
No.
Like, they have never done that under Steve Sarkisian. Even when times were really bad in 2021, they found a way to be prepared for the game before OU.
I think I would be more apt to say, BK, if this offense had been rolling for the last 3 games and really looked really, really good, that I could possibly say, yeah, they could overlook this team a little bit.
Yeah.
But they've got so much to do offensively. There's so many question marks still that remain on this offensive team. And look at how many games we've already played. We're still wondering, what is the identity of this team offensively?
It's a good question, right? Again, they looked really good against Sam Houston, but did they turn a corner or were they just playing Sam Houston?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what we'll find out today. As I said, the hitting will be different. The team may not be, as a team, all that good, but there'll be some individual players that can play and hang with you. So,
how you feeling about Arch Manning today? I mean, this going into the year, this was supposed to be one of the best QB matchups this season.
Sure.
Again, Arch Manning, the #1 QB in the class of 2023, DJ Lagway, the #1 QB in the class of 2024, 2 Heisman front runners early in the year. Obviously, Arch Manning was the Heisman favorite, and neither guy has quite lived up to the billing. Now, Arch has been a lot better than Lagway, but obviously we've lost some steam with this overall matchup and with these 2 quarterbacks as well. But just looking at Arch Manning for a second, what do you want to see from him today in the Swamp?
Well, I think he has to be able to control this offense and what they do and keep these guys offensively going. I mean, whether something good happens or whether something bad happens, I think this is one of those kind of leadership games for a young quarterback that the head coach is not sitting him on the bench anytime soon, no matter what happens. He's going to be this quarterback here for the next 2 years. So this is his opportunity to show when things aren't going great that he can make things turn around. And he's going to have to make some plays himself today. He's going to have to be he'll be a focal point of what they do offensively, not just throwing the ball down the field, but with his feet, with his mind, the whole works.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to help the defense out. He's not going to put the defense in a bad situation by not taking care of the football. This is kind of his game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he needs to be the MVP of the game, but he has to be very valuable to the team for sure.
Well, that's the biggest question today, right? Like, what version of Arch Manning do we get? Do we get the version against Sam Houston that went 18 of 21 for more than 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, no turnovers? Or do we get the one against UTEP that went 11 of 25 for 114 yards, and he had that brutal stretch of 10 straight incompletions.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have 10 straight incompletions. I don't think we're ever going to see that from him again.
I don't think so either.
You know, I think everybody's a little in tune to each other a little bit better. But there's some guys I think that really, really can give him a helping hand today, and they need to do that. All of them need to do it. All of them need to be a part of giving him a helping hand in this whole thing. It can't. Yeah. Once again, this is another one of those games where it can't be all on your quarterback. There's too many other players offensively that haven't really come up to snuff yet. So they all need to keep getting better every week. So far, they've had a game that they all look good in, and that was against Sam Houston.
Yeah.
Now they need to continue on that. How do they continue on? We'll find out today.
It's funny you say that. It's the perfect segue because Steve Sarkisian was asked more about Arch Manning than the Texas team as a whole. But how do you build on Arch's strong performance against Sam Houston?
I think that, naturally we wanted to build on coming out of the Sam Houston game because I thought that he did some really good things for us in that game, and his ability to push the ball down the field, his ability to play within rhythm and timing and get to secondary reads, his ability to use his legs to his advantage, and our ability to utilize his legs, I think, are important. I think we've got to continue to push the second, third, and fourth reads. We try our best as a coaching staff to get the first read open. And then, when we can't, we've got to have the ability to get through our progression. And I think the progress that he made in that last game is going to be beneficial for him to where, not that he doesn't know where to go with the ball on his second, third, and fourth reads. I think he's well more than equipped, and nobody prepares better than Arch. He doesn't have to feel rushed. He's not late. And the timing and the rhythm of his drop and the timing and the rhythm of where people are in spots on the field and trusting that to stay in rhythm for himself, I think is something that he can take from that game and continue to build upon.
I mean, if his first reads are there, we can take it. Let's go. Take the first read. If the long ball is there, let's just go ahead and fling it. If it's 15 yards down the field, forget your second read. If the first read is open, feel confident enough to go ahead and throw the football today. I just lead the team. For me, it's pretty simple with him. It's not about these crazy numbers. It's just about leading the team.
Sure.
You'll know how this offense goes by the way he goes and by the way he, when he comes out of the huddle. If the run game is going, he should have a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Period.
And you look at Florida's most recent losses to LSU and Miami. Look at the quarterback stat lines. Like Garrett Nussmeier, 220 yards,
right, 1
touchdown, 1 interception. Carson Beck, 160 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. You don't need Arch Manning to go for 4 or 5 touchdowns to win this football game today. What you do need him to do is have 1 or fewer turnovers.
Yeah, you need him to take care of the football and lead the football team.
I think he can get away with 1. Obviously, you want 0. And the Sam Houston game was his first of the season where he didn't throw an interception. So you would like to see him build on that part of his game. But I think you can get away with 1 giveaway today.
Yeah, because your defense is going to get your defense is going to get 1 or 2 themselves.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Could be.
Who knows today? So that's the biggest thing for Arch Manning for me. And you talk about the deep ball. Like, I was at the Sam Houston game, and it kind of felt like there was a collective exhale at DKR when he found Ryan Wingo on that deep ball touchdown in the third quarter. Because that was like the first time, number 1, those 2 guys have had chemistry. But number 2, that we saw the Arch Manning deep ball that looked really good last year. First time we kind of saw it hit in 2025. You would love to get 1 or 2 of those today if you can.
And that's why I said if your number 1 choice is open, let's let it go. Let's not hold back on it. Let's let that thing go and give your wide receivers an opportunity to make some plays for you. And they got to make the plays. They got to be in the right spots, but he's got to make the throws. When Sark says, find your way to number 2 and number 3 and 4. I don't care. If number 1 is open, let's just go. Let's get to number 1 quickly.
Yeah.
Without any hesitance.
We'll play with confidence.
Yes.
That's it. No hesitance, right? It looked like Arch Manning was doubting himself in the first 3 games of the season. And it was all in his head. I mean, I think it was all in his head. Arch said it was in his head. Sark said it was in his head.
Well, he didn't want to make any mistakes.
Right.
And now he knows that he can play a really good game. He's going to make a mistake here or there. And then he's got the people to back him up if he does make a mistake. He's got a defense that's behind him that can put up for some of the mistakes that he may make. So just go and be yourself. Throw the ball.
I think the biggest question for me, specifically to Arch Manning today, is how does he respond to in-game adversity?
Yes.
Right? Against Ohio State, he did play better in the second half than in the first half, but still not a good performance at all. And then UTEP, when things started going downhill in that game, he did not bounce back. There wasn't a lot of adversity against Sam Houston, right? Texas hit the ground running. They scored on their first 9 possessions of the football game. There's going to be some adversity. Florida's got a good defense. You're playing on the road. Like, if you throw an interception or you take a bad sack or you make a wrong read, whatever, how do you get up off the mat? That is a huge key in Texas winning this game.
Well, he's been groomed, at this point for us to think we should be seeing a guy who's ready to go, an experienced player who's ready to go, who should be doing a lot of good things. It's just taking him a little bit more time, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
he's not that great quarterback that we thought he was. A lot of people thought he was going to be at this short of a time as a starter. It's just not there yet.
Right.
Doesn't mean he can't get there. It's just not happening. But I wouldn't say force it. But now it's time for him to kind of be himself. And now he's had some success. Now continue on the success that you had, no matter who you played against. I'm not going to give that whole Sam Houston. The hitting will be different. A lot of things will be different. The players will be a little bit better. But my goodness, I mean, you just got to, on the success that you have, you got to build on that. You can't go backwards.
Yeah, and Sark was also asked about Arch Manning responding to adversity. And this was interesting. He was asked, how does Arch respond to adversity compared to Quinn Ewers? And here was Sark on Monday talking about that.
I think part of it is, Arch has got more emotion in him than Quinn. And they're different humans, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And so sometimes, when you throw an interception or you make a play that isn't, one that you wish you made, it's okay to show a little emotion then too. Like that's not the end of the world. Because some way, shape, or form, you got to get it out of you. And Quinn's his ability was just to kind of let it flow through. Arch may need to scream and yell for a second. That's okay too. Like we've seen great competitors for decades that in their own way celebrate, get bad plays out, pick up teammates in their own way. And that's why I think it's important for Arch to be Arch and not try to be something that he's not. And so I hope we're not answering this question, how did Arch respond to the pick Saturday? But if it does, I just want him to respond naturally. Whatever naturally comes to him, let it happen and then move forward. And I think that'll serve him best.
Yeah, that's what I mean with the success that he had a couple of weeks ago, yeah. PK. I think he understands what the game is all about. I'm not going to be all these things people thought I should be. I'm going to be who I am right now, and it's taken me a little bit of time. But now that I had some success, I refuse to go back to what you guys thought of me, the game after the Ohio State game, the game after that. Yeah. I'm exactly who I am, and I'm getting better after the Sam Houston game. I'm not going back. I'm going to keep going forward. And I think we'll start to see his maturity now. You got to see it today. You got to see his leadership today.
You know what I want to see today? I want to see Arch Manning truck some poor Florida defender and then stand over him the way he did to that poor Sam Houston kid.
Well, he's going to, if he's going to be himself, this is the day to do it.
Everyone was dunking on Arch for showing a little emotion against Sam Houston. And it's like, well, you're doing that against Sam Houston. I hope he has that same type of run against Florida and then shows a little emotion, flexes a little bit.
I think he's had that. I think he's had that whole thing about his emotions. Yeah, I think they figured that all out last week. He's just going to be kind of who he is.
Yeah.
And I think he plays. I think he's played with that, but I don't think he's let that loose in a game. He probably practices that way, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to show how emotional he is in a game. Like if he throws a pick, he's going to be pissed at himself, and the head coach is going to say, "Don't be so hard on yourself." And instead of saying, "Don't be so hard on yourself," okay, if you're going to be mad at yourself, go ahead. Yep. Be mad at yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be yourself about how you play the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played the game enough. He's had so much success, and he has not had a lot of failures. So when these failures come, you just got to handle it the way you handle it. You can't have somebody tell you how to handle it. And I think he's now at the point where now he should be able to thrive on the success that he had. Once again, it doesn't matter who you play against. When you have that kind of success, you got to build on it.
Yeah, that's well said right there. Texas Rock says, if I see Arch ignore Livingston wide open over the middle again, I might jump out of a window. LOL. Yeah, there's going to be open receivers today. I mean, Sark's done a great job all season long of scheming guys open. Arch, it felt like he finally started to see them a little bit more against Sam Houston. Again, Florida's defense is solid, but they are down 2 secondary starters. So that's kind of an advantage for Texas, right? Texas is healthier at wide receiver than they've been all year. We'll talk about Emmett Mosley's return in a moment.
And you've got a head coach that likes to attack people like that. A backup cornerback, a backup safety. Let's go attack him.
And I think Trey Wisner is Texas's best receiving threat out of the backfield.
Absolutely.
He's back in this game too. And I look at last year. I know it was a Quinn Ewers game. It was a different Texas, a different Florida. The game was in Austin. But Florida was banged up in their secondary. They didn't have DJ Lagway, but they were also down a few secondary starters. And Texas, they were up 35-0 at halftime and 42-0 early in the third quarter, and then they rested their starters the rest of the way and called off the dogs. There's going to be some open receivers today against a short-handed Florida secondary. Arch has to take advantage of those opportunities when they're there.
He's going to take advantage of all his opportunities today. This is, like you said, this is a game. Now you're in SEC play. There's no more holding anything back. Sark, game plan and everything else, everybody has to be on the money today.
What about Arch's legs? How much of a factor do you think? The first game against Ohio State, Arch Manning had his biggest running output of the year, 10 carries for 38 yards in that one. How much of a factor do you think Arch's mobility is going to be?
All right, when Trey Wisner's not playing, Arch Manning is the best running back that they have. Okay, now I'll say it that way. I just won't flat out say he's the best runner that they have.
Yeah.
When Trey Wisner's not playing, Arch Manning is the best runner on the football team. He's a weapon. Use him. Use him. I mean, you're here to win the games. You're not here. That kid can protect himself. I know he's the quarterback, but he's a big old dude. He can protect himself. I mean, he can flex over guys. He knows how to play football.
For sure.
So there's no reason to hide him away from hits or anything like that. Let him go and play the game of football. I think that's what you do today. And if you have some runs that you think you can do, because he's going to do it today anyway. I think if this offensive line, BK, struggles with some pass protection and guys aren't open, Arch Manning's going to take off and go. And he's going to have to go against linebackers. He's going to have to run against linebackers, safeties that are going to come up and hit him. And he's just going to shake it off, get up, and go play another down.
We spent a lot of time in the offseason talking about Arch Manning being smart, right? Giving himself up, sliding, running out of bounds, whatever. Is this one of those games where you want Arch to do that, or is this one of those hey, SEC on the road, big game? If you need to lower your shoulder a little bit, pick up a few extra yards, go right ahead.
I don't know if I want to say the word lower your shoulder.
Okay.
To be very careful, but run with confidence. And if guys are, if a guy's down by your legs and going to attack you down there, you'll be fine. I'm not saying go bone on bone with some guy.
Hey, remember Sark says Arch plays better after taking a hit.
Well, to hit yourself in the head going out to the stadium.
Tom Herman headbutt him before the game.
Bang into the bus or something when you get off the bus. But no, don't take anything unnecessary. But I don't need you to get an extra yard on the sideline.
Yeah,
I need you to get out of bounds and play another down. But if you got to get 2 yards for a first down and it's you and that fellow over there, you're big enough to take on that fellow.
I think the zone read is going to be a big part of today's game.
That would be interesting. That'd be great to see.
And it should be, right? Like short yardage situations, 3rd and 4th and 1 or 2, and near the goal line. I think that's your most successful play. I mean, Arch Manning's legs has been your best red zone play this year, but just having that threat of Trey Wisner next to him, where you don't know if Wisner's getting the ball, you don't know if Arch is keeping the ball. You called that play a lot last year. But with Quinn Ewers, no one was ever really worried about Quinn keeping it. With Arch, you got to pay respect to him and his legs.
Yeah, I think naturally Arch is going to take off. I said that in the beginning of the season. He's going to just take off naturally. A lot of things, a lot of times where you think maybe he shouldn't have taken off. Maybe he should hang in the pocket and throw the ball. If he gets you 8 or 9 yards and picks up a first down, you're not going to say anything about the guy who was open down the field. You're really not. You're going to say first down and let's move on. Maybe he'll get it done the next time. So I expect to see a lot of stuff like that happen with him. Just being a football player today.
Well, if there's a guy open 40 yards down the field,
you want to see that ball throw. If that's your first guy in sight, throw it to him.
Look, I
agree.
I won't be too mad about an 8-yard first down run, but I'd prefer a 40-yard touchdown.
I would too.
Those are a little bit better than that. All right, so Arch Manning, obviously a big storyline in this game today. But we'll give our offensive player of the game predictions right now. Brought to you by our great friends at Moonshine, Patio, Bar, and Grill. One of our favorite spots.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you a surprise today.
Okay.
And Trey Wisner's back. Arch Manning's coming off a really good football game. Wingo's got involved now. But I think Jack Entries needs to be a big part of what happens today.
I like that.
I need him to catch at least between 6 and 8 footballs today. And I'm not looking for him to have 200 yards of receiving. I mean, he's a tight end. But I'd like to see him in that high 60, 70 yards, but catch a bunch of balls for big plays. I mean, a 5-yard pass for a first down is a big play to me to move the chains. I need to see him really, really involved. And I mean, Sark brought that guy here. That guy should be more involved in what they do offensively. To help out a young quarterback, your tight end, no better friend than your tight end. He needs to be that friend today.
He's only got 7 catches.
Yeah, that's amazing to me.
2 of those 7 have gone for touchdowns, so he's made the most of his limited opportunities. But I really like that pick. Yeah, I was a huge fan of the Jack Endries get from Cal, and I do think he.
Yeah, hell, if he was going to do this, if he's going to catch 7 balls by now, he could have stayed at Cal and caught 7 by now.
I probably would have caught more than that. By
Yeah.
now. What'd you drop? You dropped your
ring.
Texas ring. Hopefully, that's not a bad omen for the Longhorns.
No, it
today.
just slid off the old finger. There you go.
I like that Jack Endries pick. I'm going to go with another pass catcher for Texas. I'm going to go with Parker Livingston.
Okay.
Again, Texas's only Power 4 game that they've played this year, their only road game that they've played this year. Parker Livingston was far and away Arch Manning's favorite target.
Yep.
He was far and away the best player for the Longhorns on the offensive side of the ball. He wasn't a huge part of the game plan against Sam Houston. Didn't need to be. Everything else the Longhorns did was right. But I feel like there's an obvious trust between Arch and Livingston. Of course, they're roommates. Everybody knows that storyline as well. And he's Texas's leading receiver going into conference play. I think he has another touchdown grab today, and I think he is Texas's leading receiver this afternoon, somewhere in like the 70 to 80-yard range today.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Parker Livingston, also going with a pass catcher.
Well, good. 2 pass catchers. That'll be fantastic.
I mean, Trey Wisner's going for 250.
Yeah, I mean, just give me 140 together, guys, and I'll be really excited as you all rush for 140. And if Wisner's a guy who rushes for 100 of them, that's fine too.
He can run for 160, and Gibson can run for negative
That's
20.
true.
We'll take it. Offensive player of the game prediction, Buck, brought to you by Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill.
And boy, do we love the Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill. Sundays, nothing better. Hey, ACL, it's going to be crowded for ACL. You know, mom and dad will be at ACL too, or at least their credit card will be. You want to take it over to the Moonshine Patio and Grill for a wonderful Sunday brunch, please do so. They got 2 great locations, downtown location and up in the Avery Ranch area. I want to thank Chuck and Larry. They've always been there for us, and we do appreciate the folks at Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill. Now, it's going to be crowded downtown, y'all, but they got their own parking spaces, so you got plenty of parking to get a fantastic meal.
Yep.
And dinner, too. Now, it's not just the brunch. The brunch is my favorite, but they have dinner down there. They have a great menu, great wine list.
2:30 game. After the game, go get you
Absolutely.
some dinner at Moonshine. They got a
Yes.
couple of TVs around the restaurant.
Yes, they
You can
do.
watch some of the night games tonight. Yeah, that weekend brunch. I might have to do that tomorrow.
That does sound good, doesn't it?
Treat myself a little bit.
Now you're talking about it. That's right. You've been under the weather a little bit. You need to treat yourself.
Yeah.
Have something good on your menu this week.
I could use some of that.
There you go.
I will be ingesting some Altstadt beer.
Yes,
after
you will.
The show is over here at Lavaca Street. Come out and see us. If you are here, we are giving away a free cowboy hat courtesy of our friends at Cavender's. A lot of noise in here, so I don't know how many people can hear us talking about that. So if you do come by, you've got a pretty good chance to win if you sign up. But if you're looking for a place to watch Texas and Florida, they will have the sound on here.
Please tip your wait staff.
Yeah, the wait staff
Always.
is great. It's one of my favorite spots in the city. Great wait staff. Show them some love and show them your wallets
There you go.
as well. They'll appreciate that. But great food, great drinks, great vibes here at Lavaca Street. We are at the South Lamar location.
You know, BK, there are teams getting blown out early in the first half in a lot of these games today. Pitt Panthers, you know, my one-time sleeper is just crushing the Boston College Eagles.
They benched their starter. It's a new quarterback for Pitt today.
How they had 30-some points, I think, and BC had 0.
Yikes. Well, that's because Bill O'Brien's
I know.
one of the worst football coaches who's ever lived.
Yeah, I'll be getting that call soon.
Go ahead and blame him. You think you're going to be the head coach at Boston College?
I don't want to be the head coach at Boston College. No, I don't. No.
I don't know. That paycheck's probably pretty nice. I don't think you're making that at TSU.
I'm making that. Everything's good. I'm good.
Oh, man. Now
I'm good with the weather here.
let's do our second scoreboard update right now, brought to you by our friends at Gobundance. Again, gobundance.com/TSU. Join an elite brotherhood of men, business owners, investors. If you're looking to elevate your life, Gobundance is the team you've been looking for. Gobundance.com/TSU for more information. Some games in progress. Georgia taking it out on Kentucky. Of course, the Bulldogs coming off that disappointing loss to Alabama last week. They are up 28-7 early in the third quarter in Athens. Iowa State making things a little interesting. At one point, they were down 31-7 against Cincinnati. That game is now 31-21. Still 8 minutes left in the third quarter. An interesting game in the Big 12 between two teams who were unbeaten in Big 12 play. Michigan 10, Wisconsin 7. again, offense optional with both of those teams. That game 5 minutes left in quarter number 3. And then offense not optional, defense optional for Illinois Purdue, 30-21 midway through quarter number 3 in wherever Purdue is.
Lafayette.
West Lafayette, East Lafayette.
I think it's East Lafayette.
Okay, East Lafayette, Purdue. And those are your ranked games in progress right now. One Texas game going on. Kansas State on top of Baylor, 24-17.
That's not good for Baylor and their head coach.
Yeah, Dave Aranda trying to avoid getting fired. Well, Kansas State has been a big disappointment. They are 2-3 to open up the year. A lot of people thought that was a playoff
Yes,
team
they did.
in the Little Apple, and they have looked everything but so far this season. So there you go, your scoreboard.
Now, your scoreboard,
updates.
will we have baseball today? Do we have baseball today? Is it today that it starts?
Yes, there's a game on right now. The Brewers and the Cubs. Game 1 of the NLDS is on here at Lavaca. The Cubbies up 1-0 early. I think they had a solo home run at the top of the first inning in Milwaukee. And your Yankees
Tonight?
will be taking on Toronto.
Are they in prime tonight? They're playing that team from Canada, not an American team.
Not an American team. No, they're playing the
Our
Blue
national
Jays.
pastime, and there's not an American team in there.
And I heard Aaron Judge forgot his passport, so he is out today. It's not.
That's right. He's just a singles hitter anyway.
Wow, 2-1 Brewers. So the Brewers have responded with 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning. Now, Yankees Blue Jays is at 3:00. So at the same time as Texas Florida, you'll have to be flipping back and forth to watch your Bronx Bombers play. Little disappointed you didn't wear your full-on Yankees uniform here out in public today.
No, you told me I can't wear that until we get to the World Series. I'll be wearing that once we get to the World
We're
Series.
looking at an Aaron Judge jersey right now.
There you go.
Actually, I don't know who it is because
Big singles hitter.
the Yankees tradition, they can't put their names on the back of their jersey. It's too important.
Come on, singles hitters. How about some home runs here?
That'd be nice. Yeah, you guys are going to need it right there. So there's your scoreboard update, again, brought to you by our friends at Gobundance. We did talk about some of the games later on today, a little bit earlier. One game that we did not hit, Miami at Florida State. That's your only other ranked versus ranked matchup outside of that Vandy, Alabama game. Any thoughts on the U against FSU tonight?
Well, Thomas Castellanos will have to play really, really well in order for Florida State to win. Miami's defense is solid. They're not great, but they're pretty solid. And, I mean, that kid has been playing well all year. If there's an upset today, that could be the upset.
Okay.
I believe.
It's a 4.5-point line.
Yeah, I believe if there's a true upset in college football, that's the one we're looking at today.
I thought you were out on Florida State after that Virginia loss.
I was out on them, but I'm still not sold because Miami will have their time where they lose a game that they shouldn't. This is probably the one.
Yeah, I'm not super
in-state rival like this.
I'm not super bought in on Miami yet. Still not super bought in on Florida State yet, but I could see that one being close.
Well, I mean, for Miami, Carson Beck hasn't had to do a lot. They can turn around and hand the ball off, and then they can ride their defense. He hadn't had to be Superman, and he's got some great receivers.
Yeah,
he really, really does. And if he has one of those games today, it'll be tough for Florida State. But the Miami defense, as I said, I don't see them as being just world beaters.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, so that's your other big game tonight. Again, our scoreboard updates powered by our friends at Gobundance. Gobundance.com/TSU for more information. All right, another update from an injury front. We'll get back into the Texas-Florida game and more specifically the Texas offense going up against the Florida defense. The most recent injury report that was just released, Emmett Mosley's not on there, which means he's playing today. The Stanford transfer will be making his Longhorn debut. Here's a little bit of sound from Steve Sarkisian talking about what Emmett Mosley V can bring to this Texas offense, and then we'll give our thoughts on what he can do to this passing game.
Yeah, I love Emmett as a player. I wish we had him this first 4 games of the season. He was a very dynamic player for Stanford a year ago. He's a guy that has length, very good hands. He's sudden. He's a really good route runner. Obviously he's an elite blocker. And what it does, it really gives you that third receiver that has some length to him. Obviously with what Ryan's length and Parker's length and now Emmett's length, and a guy with experience, a guy who's played, and now with Parker's experience and Ryan. Those 3 guys, provide a little something different to go along with, DeAndre and then Dalen McCutcheon. I feel like we're starting to formulate that kind of group that we were hoping to have. But it's great to have Emmett. He's a guy that has really worked hard to get back healthy. He's got a pro mentality about his approach. And I think not only is he good for the room in his approach to it, I think he's good for our team. He's good for our offense in particular that way with just his approach to the way that he works.
I think you and I are both in agreement. We don't really give a rat's ass about him being a lead blocker. I could care less. I don't need him to be a lead blocker.
Okay.
I want to know if he's going to make a difference at that position to help this quarterback along. If he's going to be able to make tough catches when balls aren't exactly there, is he going to be able to make people miss in the secondary and have some incredible big plays? That's what I care about. He can be an average blocker.
I'm
How's that?
surprised. You're a running back coach. I figured
No.
you'd be excited about a wide receiver's blocking ability.
No, I never. I was a wide receiver, so I do know what elite blocking is all about.
Yeah, you got in a 3-point stance
Yes,
as a wide
and
receiver.
stayed down there and never got up.
At what, 5'5", 140 pounds?
Oh, I wouldn't say. I was 170 at 5'9".
That was your playing weight.
Yes.
$170.
Yes, I believe that it's just going to be nice for us to see this kid. They went out and got him. He was the guy that they targeted. Over the last couple of years, Sark has targeted a couple wide receivers that have gone on to be first-round picks, second-round picks. We need to see what this guy can do.
It's a great point.
That'll be interesting to see. I mean, are they still, he and Chris Jackson, are they still on the money when it comes to bringing elite receivers to this offense? We don't know.
Yeah, it's a great point because Texas has had a bunch of success in the transfer portal at the wide receiver position, right? Adonai Mitchell 2 years ago.
Yes.
Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond, Silas Bolden, all three of them made impacts last season. They only went out and got one. That was a little surprising considering how much they lost at wide receiver.
I agree.
They went out and got one, and they didn't get him until after the spring. So maybe they went through spring ball and were like, we don't have enough. We got to go get somebody. But I do like Emmett Mosley the fifth.
Yeah, and we all will have questions. We always do, no matter what the season is like. But if this season doesn't turn out to be a really, really successful football season, we're going to look back. We're going to say, why didn't Coach go get some offensive linemen?
Yeah.
Why didn't he get another wide receiver? Why are they not ever looking at running backs? Are they just strictly going to go through the high school levels in the state of Texas or all over this country because they go everywhere in the country? Are they going to look to the high school? Are they going to start to get like Dabo Sweeney here? Because you can't have that. It's just not the way college football works anymore.
Yeah.
It's not working that way. I think we'll have that question about the offensive line for sure.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, we're going to say, well, why wouldn't you, if you went and got these great defensive linemen, which have turned out to be pretty good so far, why wouldn't you go and at least get one on the offensive line?
We don't have to wait till the end of that.
I guess we don't have to wait till the end.
Right. Like if Texas struggles offensively today and the offensive line gets whipped or the receivers don't look great or whatever, there are going to be Texas fans wondering why the Longhorns didn't hit the portal a little harder on
because
offense.
They have the ability to do that.
Of
We've
course.
seen them strike gold doing that.
Well, they got 5 defensive linemen from the portal. The defensive lineman's been elite.
Yes.
So it's like, you spent all that money on D-line. Why didn't you go spend some money on offensive
No
line
doubt.
or wide receiver? So, again, you hope these questions don't pop up, but they are questions that could if the Texas offense kind of resorts back to the way they looked.
Yeah, I mean, everything is not a hit when you go out and get guys from the portal, but so far when it comes to wide receivers, it's been a hit. So I think this will be very interesting to see how this particular player is once he gets on the field today.
Mosley, 48 catches, 525 yards, 6 touchdowns in his freshman season at Stanford. More receptions and receiving yards than any Texas receiver had in 2024. I should say any returning Texas receiver had in 2024. Also, what's interesting, Emmett Mosley, 4 of his 6 touchdown grabs came on 4th down. So even though he was a true freshman, he was a guy in big spots that Stanford trusted to get the ball to. And again, a true freshman coming off a torn ACL that he suffered in his senior year of high school football. He's already shown once that he could come back from an injury and play really, really well.
Yes, he has.
This injury didn't require surgery. Now, we don't know exactly what has kept him out.
You don't know what it is yet?
No, I'm sorry. I've let you down, not being able to find out exactly what his
it's a lower leg injury.
Lower leg injury.
Okay.
I can give you that. I'm giving you the hockey injury report right there. But I do know, he came back from an injury and looked really good for a really bad Stanford team with bad quarterback play and a bad offense. So if he is right, if he is 100% or at least very close to it, he should absolutely be a boost for this Longhorn passing attack.
No doubt.
It's the first time this year they've had their top 4 guys. And I think we all kind of felt like the top 4 for Texas at wide receiver was pretty good. Outside of that, it was a bunch of freshmen and a bunch of unproven underclassmen. But you felt like, okay, Ryan Wingo, DeAndre Moore, Emmett Mosley, and Parker Livingston, those guys were enough.
And that's why we thought Jack injuries are going to be even more important to this offense than they hadn't been.
Yeah, injuries too. I'll throw him in there. You felt like Texas had a good enough group of pass catchers, at least in their starting lineup, to where that could have been a strength of this football team. This is the first time this year we're going to see all of those guys on the field at the same time.
And they need them. This is where they need them in this particular game for sure.
Yeah, I almost went with Mosley as my offensive player of the game prediction, but I couldn't go that bold just because I don't know how much he's going to play.
That's true.
So we know he is playing. He is going to make his Texas debut, but how much is he out there? Obviously a big question. All right, we got to get to the Bucs' 3 keys to victory here, brought to you by our great friends at Sue Patrick. Of course, we'll talk more about Sue Patrick in a moment, but 30 minutes left in our pregame show here at Lavaca Street Bar. Come out and see us. More importantly, come out and watch the college football all day long. We'll talk more about Sue Patrick in a second. But, Buck, what do you have as your 3 keys to a Horns victory?
Well, my first key is to run for 4 or more yards on first down. You turn the ball and hand it off on first down if they're going to do that. If not, just pass the ball down the field. I mean, either way for me, I mean, I don't care if you pass it down the field for 8 yards. But if you're going to turn around and hand it off to any of the running backs, they get to get 4 or more today. That'll be important, BK. It really will.
Yeah. And
then I need a total of at least 140 yards total by all of them as a group. This is a game that if you rush for 140 yards, and they rushed for 166 against Ohio State. If they can get 140 against this group, they should win the football game. And Arch Manning is a part of that run game. So he's not just a quarterback. He's a part of the run game. So plus 140, it will be big for me today. But the 4 yards of clip on first, because I don't want to see them turn around and a guy get 2 yards or 1 yard, because Sark is not going back-to-back runs. He's not going to do a lot of that. He's not a guy that turns around and gives it to a guy three or 4 times in a row unless it's late in the game and they're up by a bunch of points.
And it's working.
Mm-hmm. So he's not going to have much patience for that if they're getting stuffed. So I need a guy to rush for at least 4 or more on first down. Number 2, protect the football. And that ball, once again, that ball belongs to everybody. It doesn't just belong to the guy that they hand it to or the guy that they snap it to or the guy who catches it. Everybody has to protect the football today. Once again, we don't know what the weather is. I'm not going to try to make a prediction. I mean,
you're the weather guy.
Well, it doesn't matter. If it's sunny, you still have to protect the football.
Yeah.
So turnovers, I'm going to say 2 or less.
2 or less.
2 or less.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go with 1 because I think 1 will happen. I mean, tip balls bouncing off of somebody's helmet, somebody doesn't catch a ball and goes to the hand of another. 2 or less, you should be in the game because I expect your defense to get at least 2, so that can even out. And number 3, stars need to shine today. We've talked about that this week. The guys who have been playing okay football but not great football need to start playing great football because now it's SEC play. You got those stars need to be shining today. That's Wingo. That's everybody. I mean, that's your quarterback.
Yep.
That's Trey Wisner coming off of like 6 months without playing. It seems like he should be ready. He should be ready to go. If he's ready to play, then he should have a big game today. All your wide receiver, your offensive linemen, they have to protect your quarterback today and give your running backs a little opportunity to get something done here today. So the stars have to shine.
About 7 keys you just gave, right?
I know. Sorry, I just started adding names into it.
And then your first key was 2 keys: running for 4 yards on first down, and then running for 140 yards. I thought those were 2. That was only 1.
No, that was just 1. That's a part of the 4-yard plan.
You got a 1A and 1B here today.
Yeah.
Oh,
but the stars do need to shine.
I agree with that 100%. There are a number of stars that I think.
I know you got a couple guys on your hit list that need to pick up the pace a little bit.
I'm not killing anybody. I don't have a hit list going here, but there are a few I would like to see play their best games of the season today.
Some of the guys that we've seen have just, Manny Muhammad's just a solid player. He plays hard. He plays good every week. So you don't have to pick him. He's going to play good.
Well, here's the thing with Manny Muhammad, Buck. We've not talked about this yet. Manny Muhammad's a game time decision today.
I saw that early this morning.
He was questionable on last night's injury report. We don't know exactly what's going on. Again, they only tell us if the player is doubtful, questionable, probable, out, whatever. They don't really.
This is another surprise, like Trey Wisner was for us. All of a sudden, before the game.
Because we saw Manny Muhammad play against Sam Houston.
Right.
So I don't know if he got hurt in that game or if he got hurt in practice at some point over the last couple of weeks. But he is a game-time decision for Texas today. Obviously, he's the Longhorns' #1 cornerback. So that's a storyline to pay attention to.
Yeah, that's, with them getting their receivers back, it just kind of scares you a little bit. But I don't think their quarterback's going to have all that kind of time to be throwing the ball down the field. I think that, like you said, that when we talk about the stars that need to shine, there's some guys on this defensive line that I think will get loose today and get some things done for the Longhorns on defense.
Yeah, before we dive back into that, Buck, our 3 keys, I should say your 3 keys to victory.
My 25 keys to victory.
Brought to you by Sue Patrick.
Love the folks at Sue Patrick, 5222 Burner Road for all your Longhorn gear. And, of course, I know people have got their gear this week getting ready, but there is next week.
Come on.
Come rain or shine, there's going to be next week going up to Dallas, and you're going to need – you can't go up to Dallas without your Longhorn gear.
No.
Without your polos, your hats.
You got to be talking shit to OU.
That's exactly right.
Week.
So you have to be wearing that gear, and you can get that right there at Sue Patrick, 5222 Burnett Road, or go to SuePatrick.com for more information.
A tradition unlike any other.
Oh, I love it.
Jim Nance says it's the Masters. I say it's getting the bird flipped in my face by a 4-year-old Oklahoma fan.
Yeah, with a 12-year-old mom.
The 12-year-old mom.
Yeah,
sure how that works.
I don't know how that works either, but I've seen it done.
It's kind of a disturbing
I
thought.
watched it happen. It was right in front of my face.
The beauty of OU fans is you'll get flipped off by a 4-year-old, a 44-year-old, and a 104-year-old all next to each other. It's about 5 generations of incestual Sooners.
Anybody in their 20s and 30s are working at the fairgrounds that day. They won't bother you. That's where they get their jobs
Bearded
for the month.
Lady.
Yeah, guessing weights.
A lot of bearded women up there.
Oh, yeah.
In Oklahoma.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun. Let's get this one today, folks.
Let's get this one today. Yeah, we're more focused on this game
goodness,
today.
Let's get this one for next week.
Obviously, all of our conversation next week will be about Texas and Oklahoma, and we'll be up in Dallas next week. So if you're making the trip, make sure you keep it locked into Texas Sports Unfiltered to find out where we are going to be. Tons of great giveaways, tons of live broadcasts. Should be a hell of a time at the Red River Shootout. So, okay, I went with 6 things that I would like to see from Texas today, and one of them you alluded to. It's about the stars showing up. 2 guys, we've talked about him a little bit today, but we'll talk about him a little bit more right now. Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons. I love that you picked Ant Hill as your defensive player of the game prediction. I think he needs to do a little bit more today. Again, the linebacker play at Texas has been elite.
It has.
LaFau's been great. Hill's been fine. It's not like he's been bad out there, but I feel like there's more for him today. And, I mean, I think there are opportunities to get after DJ Lagway a little bit. Florida's tied for 100th in the country in terms of sacks per game allowed. So I think you could bring Ant Hill on some blitzes to get some pressure there. But I also think against Jaden Ball in the Florida rushing attack, you've got to have Anthony Hill making some things happen.
Yeah, but the baby.
We got a baby
Baby
Dylan in the building today.
Oh.
Look at that with the Texas gear.
Oh, my good gear.
She's ready to go.
Look at the stuff from Sue Patrick gear.
She's locked in right there. Headed to Dallas next week.
Nice.
Baby's first Texas
Baby's
football
first.
game.
Oh, yeah, got to be.
Y'all got to make sure Baby Dill is flipping off the Oklahoma fans.
Yeah, make sure that baby has plenty of Allstat beer.
Sorry.
Don't let that baby come out without a case of Allstat beer.
Not that baby. We like that baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Oklahoma fan babies will be pounding some drinks, getting the beer bongs ready to go. Oh,
that's awesome.
Great turnout here at Lavaca Street. Again, come by and see us. More importantly, come by and watch the football here. One of my favorite spots in the city. Okay, so Ant Hill and Colin Simmons talking about Florida's offensive line not being
All-American.
Preseason All-American. Colin Simmons just 1.5 sacks through the first 4 games of the Longhorn season. I'd love to see him get 2. I mean, you take 1, but if he could get a crooked number today
Absolutely.
And look like that preseason All-American, you talk about Arch Manning kind of being in his head. I think Colin Simmons has been in his head at times this year. I'd love to see him unleash today.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see those guys not only get after the quarterback, because Lagway is going to take off and run at times. If it causes this guy to fumble, come up behind him, give me some strip sacks. Let's turn the ball over, too. Give Arch Manning a spot on the field where it's going to make him feel good about, here's where we start from.
Yeah.
Let's get some in your own territory stuff.
That'd be nice
for him. That's sacks are nice, but sacks with fumbles mean a lot even more, I believe.
Complimentary football, right?
Absolutely.
Every coach talks about it. Sark is no exception. And you look at that stretch, Texas had against San Jose State where they scored like 28 points in 5 minutes. It was turnover, touchdown, turnover, touchdown, turnover, touchdown. Like that's a microcosm of how good this team could be when they are firing on all cylinders.
No doubt.
Same Houston game. I mean, 2 takeaways. Obviously, the offense got whatever it wanted. Like that's what we want to see more of. So for me, that's another thing. Multiple takeaways from the Texas defense. And DJ Lagway threw 5 picks against LSU. I get it. It was Saturday night in Death Valley. That's a hostile environment for a young quarterback to be playing on the road. But Texas's defense, I think, is better than LSU's. And I think DJ Lagway is going to give you a couple of opportunities today. So take advantage. Don't be dropping picks. That's horrible. If he throws one to you, make sure you catch it. Do what you're talking about, giving your offense some shorter fields.
No. And don't let him get his. He's that guy that you can't let BK get any confidence in the way he can run the ball, because once again, that's a big dude running the ball.
Yeah,
he's going to fall forward for some yards, so you can't let him feel like he's one of their runners now. All of a sudden,
Yeah. No, Texas has a top 5 rushing defense in the country.
Right, you got to punish him when he does run.
They did a great job against Ohio State's backfield, and hopefully that's the case again today. I'm going to say it, but the P word that we've been trying to avoid.
It's unavoidable, isn't it? When your team is not that smart.
6 or less. Can we get 6 or less penalties today?
We're talking about first half, right? We're talking about the entire game. We're talking about the first half.
Talking about the entire game. Can we make it happen?
No.
Texas only had 6 against Ohio State, and that was 3 times the amount the Buckeyes had. It's a big part of why Texas lost that football game, because there were some very untimely infractions.
You think the GPAs went up all of a sudden? That they're going to be a smarter team?
I think so.
They had a week off.
To focus on the school a little bit.
Yeah, I in my mind, I was thinking 6.
They averaged 8.5 a game this year. So can we get to 6?
I think 6 is a good number, but we can't say the P word anymore.
All right,
because it's going to happen. They're not smart.
6 pina coladas.
It is going to be absolutely the noise level there in the swamp. I've asked some. I even called a couple of friends of mine down in the Florida area. Some old buddies that coached at St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale, and those coaches have been there before, and they said it is brutal. The sound there, it is so loud and so crazy.
Dude, that used to be one of the toughest places to win in college football. Now, I will say this.
That's why you got to bring them down. That's why you have to tone that down for them.
I will say this. Last year, Texas whooped up on Florida, and then right after that, Florida won back-to-back home games against ranked LSU and Ole Miss teams. So when their backs were against the wall and everyone was talking about their coach getting fired, they returned home and beat 2 good teams in a row. Different Florida team, different DJ Lagway than what we've seen this season.
These are 2 blue blood playing. This is a big deal for Florida.
When Urban Meyer was winning national championships there, that was one of the toughest places. That sign that they have, this is ... the swamp.
Yeah,
this is Gator country. You would see that shit, you'd be scared.
Yeah, it'll be. Texas has been in some big battles, but this one, and the fans there, this will be fun. This should be fun. As I said, if you're playing this game, you're going to love this game.
Well, here's one more from Steve Sarkisian here. He was talking about his team taking their talents to Gainesville today. He was asked on Thursday if he thinks his guys are ready to play in a hostile environment at the Swamp.
Well, I mean, I'd say this about our team, and it's been something that I feel like we've evolved into. I think we're very versatile. And I think that probably started about 2 years ago, where we felt like we could win games a variety of ways. And, early on, I didn't know if we could, that we had all the facets of a team. One, to have all 3 phases working together, offense, defense, special teams. 2, if it was a low-scoring game, to play defense and run the ball. 3, to have enough explosive playmakers on offense if it was a high-scoring game where you needed to outscore somebody. And so that, to me, that we've created a very versatile team where we feel like we can go in whatever direction is needed to try to win the game. And I think that that's something that sometimes you have to learn a little bit when you start to get into the playoffs and you start getting against when the really good teams start butting heads. And if the really good defenses are playing like really good defenses, are you comfortable winning a game, a 1-score game that's got a little bit maybe more of an NFL feel to it, that's going to come down to 1 possession? And I think that's something that we've worked hard on in putting our players in very stressful situations. It's something we actually worked on at the end of practice today of what that would feel like, and making sure on both sides of the ball we were equipped to handle a situation like that if it came up. And so we spent a lot of time on it. We think we've built a team that can handle that. And if that's what this game calls for, we'll be ready to do that as well.
They win on the road. I mean, they're used to winning on the road. It's, whenever they started 2 years ago, it doesn't matter where they play the game. They do the thing. They treat all the games the same on the road or at home. They just go and they play, and they don't expect to lose, and they don't expect hostile crowds to screw them up of what they're used to doing. And once you get used to it, but as I said, those are the same things that I think about Arch Manning. no matter who you play against. When you start winning, when you get W's instead of L's, you just it matters to you. And I think for this team, it matters to be good on the road. You know, they play at home. They get silly penalties at home, which doesn't make any sense. But what they do is they win. And once you start winning, it becomes a habit.
Yeah. Last year, Texas 3-0 in the SEC in true road games. They entered this season with the longest active road winning streak in college football. Obviously, that came to an end with the Ohio State game. But more often than not, Texas has been very good away from home, and they've yet to lose an SEC game in their history away from home. So, yeah, they shouldn't be overwhelmed by this atmosphere. I don't think they were really maybe Arch Manning was fazed by the horseshoe crowd, but Texas, they had 2 false start penalties in that game. Like, I thought for the most part they looked like they could handle that crazy raucous crowd in week 1. So like you said, it feels like they're smarter away from home than they are at home.
Yeah, I mean, there's more pressure on them, it seems like, at home.
Doesn't make sense, but that's been the case.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think they should be fine. Because I'm just going to trust in what I've seen from them on the road. They just seem to handle the pressure when they're on the road. They get things done. They take care of the football on the road. So I expect them to do the same thing here today.
I hope you're right. A couple other things I want to see in this game today. How about an explosive play from a running back? Can we get a run of at least 20 yards from a Texas tailback?
You're asking a lot there.
Well, I guess I am, because we haven't seen it all year.
Yeah, it would be nice. If there's anybody to do it, it'll be Trey Wisner out of this whole group right now. I mean, he's a guy who's a veteran. You know, he's got experience. He's got experience in big games like this in the SEC. He had 1,000 yards last year. If there's a guy who get that kind of yardage, it would be Trey. Or Arch. He'd be another one of those guys.
1,000-yard guy?
No, he'd be the guy who would take off for 15 or more.
Oh, he got 2.
Yeah, he's got the 2 anyway.
Or 3 actually rushes of 20 or more yards this year.
I think I expect to see that being the guy who'll take off with the ball and go for 20 or more yards. I don't know about the other guys.
I'd love to see whether it's even a screen game. I know I mentioned an explosive run.
Dump a screen off everyone. We haven't seen much of that this year.
A dump off where Trey Wisner goes for 25.
I hope they use that. They thought about that over the week, having that week off and got the screen game back involved. And I don't mean the one where you get it to the quarterback and he tosses it out there 25 yards to the sideline.
Oh, yeah, you hate the tunnel screen.
Yeah, and you're hoping for that receiver not to grab that other dude by the shirt.
Right.
That's the one.
You hate the Greg Davis special, huh?
Geez.
Still got UTSD from that?
Yeah, I always will have from that first play of the game.
Oh,
everybody knew it was coming.
Yeah. The 3 longest runs for Texas this year belong to Matthew Caldwell, Arch Manning, and Arch Manning.
Man.
That needs to change.
It certainly does.
Yeah, it's good to see Matthew Caldwell.
That's why you have
that's
why you have a running back.
Right. It's good to see Arch Manning have some legs, and it's good that he uses them. But you have running backs to go run the football down the field, and we just haven't seen any explosiveness or electricity from the Texas true run game this year.
Yeah, and we got to see your punt returner, BK. Not let balls can't hit today.
Now, special teams could be a factor.
Yes,
again, we're talking about a game with a 4.5-point line right now. Florida is pretty strong on special teams. They've got a good kicker. Trey Smack is his name.
Nice name.
It's a great name. It'd be better if he was like a linebacker or something.
Trey Smack, the kicker.
Kind of wasting a good name on a kicker, don't you think?
It is.
Yeah, they've got a really, really good returner. Their true freshman, who's their leading receiver so far this year. Burnell Brown III is his name. Where's number 8? He's averaging 18 yards per punt return this year. Yeah.
You got to get down and cover those.
18 catches, 219 yards, leads Florida in both of those categories. So, look, this is Florida. They recruit well. I've made this comp a lot this year. They remind me of what Texas was last decade. So it's like you look at the roster and you're like, that's a 4-star, that's a 5-star, that's a 4-star, that's a 5-star. Yep. There's talent on the team. They're just not playing well. They're not winning games. They are now where Texas was in the Charlie Strong and Tom Herman era. So they've got a couple of dudes who, if you give them time and space, they're going to make you pay.
Yeah, and Niblett, when he's had returns now, they're starting to figure that out a little bit too.
Yeah.
But he has to catch the ball. You can't – this puts you in a really bad situation here. If you don't feel the ball, it goes 15 yards behind you.
And Niblett's been very good when he does catch the ball. Like, he's made some guys miss the last couple of games. He's had some good punt returns. But like you said, I mean, it feels like at least once per game, he lets one hit the turf and roll.
Yeah, and when there's an opportunity to take 3 points, whether you don't, whether you're thinking, maybe we should go for it, we need to go. No, you need to take the 3. It's going to be a close. It'll be a close game.
How did we get an hour and 49 minutes into the show without saying that? That's a huge thing I would like to see, and a huge key to a win today, right? Like, points are going to be at a premium here.
I agree.
The total in Vegas is 42.5. And neither of these offenses has shown a whole lot this year to make you think.
And I'm thinking, boy, that's kind of high.
It feels kind of high, right? So I don't think this game is a shootout today. I'd be very surprised. Everybody would be very surprised if it turns into that. So when you have opportunities to take points, I know you'd rather have 7 than 3, Buck, but 3 is a hell of a lot better than 0.
It certainly is, and a momentum change.
And you've got to – you don't have Bird Auburn this year. You got a kicker that you feel good about this year. He's 5 for 5 on field goals, and Mason Shipley.
Let your defense do the work today.
Right. Like, take the points when it's there. Field goals are not bad. Again, Florida, they're averaging like 11 points against FBS opponents this year. This may be a 1st to 17 game, a 1st to 20 game. Maybe it's a 1st to 14 game. Who knows? Points, take them when you can get them. I know that goes against what Steve Sarkisian typically does.
Yeah, I hate to see a bunch of 4th down attempts today.
You just don't need to do it early on.
Especially if you can kick field goals.
Right.
Kick a couple field goals and let your defense go to work.
Look, if Shipley misses a 32-yarder, then, all right, you change your game plan.
We all will change then.
But the way he's been kicking it this year, again, he hasn't missed a kick, field goal or extra point.
You're right.
You trot him out there on 4th down. Like, that's – I mean, I was at the Sam Houston game. Texas was up like 38-0. And they trot out Shipley for a field goal. There's people around me clapping, like happy that the kicker's coming out on the field just because it's the kicker, and they're not going for it on every 4th down. That was a game that you won by 55 points. I don't think this is going to be one of those games.
No, I don't think so either.
So make it happen. All right, got about 9 minutes left. Again, I don't know how many people here can hear us, but we are giving away some koozies. You might walk around and
put your name. Yeah, just throw that. Put your name in that hat, or somebody's going to win that hat.
I was going to say,
put one name in the box.
What do? There's like 6 or 7 names in there, and I think they're all my buddies who I basically texted like, "Hey, go sign up."
One of your buddies gets ready to get one of those nice caps.
I was going to say, it's like
get a hat.
We walk around with the raffle
that's
tickets.
All right. That's all right.
All right.
One of your buddies deserves that. They put up with you.
That's true. And I don't always pay them, but I guess they get cowboy hats from our friends at Cavender's as their gift. So we'll give those away.
Boy, what a nice place. This is, like I said, this is the first time I've ever been in here.
It's great. Get some food before you get out of here.
Nice spot.
Very good. Yeah. Love Lavaca Street Bar. One of my favorite places to go. Not too far from my place. And again, you got plenty of time to get here. Still about 40 minutes away from kickoff.
NFL Sundays must be something in this place.
Man, I think this is it's a Ravens bar and a Jags bar. So they have all the other games on, but like if you're a Ravens fan or a Jaguars fan.
Now Jaguars have actual fans now because they haven't a little bit of a season.
Somehow the Jags are better than the Ravens right now.
Yeah,
that's the
kidding.
world that we live in. But they got every game on. This is the place to be for your Saturdays and Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. Shout out to Lavaca for having us out.
Dabo's still putting it on Carolina.
Hopefully not our last time here.
Come on, Dabo. Don't do that to the old ball coach.
Dabo needs some wins. He
needs
to look good. He doesn't care about Bill Belichick today. He needs a little bit of momentum with the way Clemson's been playing.
That's true. I forgot about they've been struggling too.
Dog shit this year.
Yeah.
By the way, we've not given some love to Clean Cause. By the way, our lighting not great. I should have put up our big sign behind us. That's on me. But our guy Noe says they're an ugly bunch. They need poor lights. Thank you very much. No, he couldn't agree more. Shout out to everyone who's commented on the Clean Cause comments line.
And we love Clean Cause, folks. They give 50% of their profits to support individuals in recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. Half of those profits do some unbelievable great things here in the Austin area and around this country. Clean Cause, you will find it just about everywhere. H-E-Bs, 7-Elevens. You look and you will find it for sure. I love the folks at Clean Cause. I have for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I used to drink a lot of the Clean Cause. Yes.
It's good stuff.
And doesn't have a bunch of jitters in it. You don't get all weirded out like some of the other energy drinks. Clean Cause is good stuff.
Excuse me, Buck. They've got some zero sugar flavors.
Absolutely.
As well. It's and that's that great caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't give you the crash or the jitters like
cherry lime, orange ginger. That yerba mate is absolutely fantastic.
I think the blackberry is my favorite.
There you go. And I just love the folks over at Clean Cause. All the folks that work over there.
Great people for sure. So appreciate all of y'all's texts and your score predictions. We will give our score predictions in a moment. You know, Buck, I'd love to get your thoughts on this as a guy who's recruited the state of Florida before. Texas has moved to the SEC, has done a lot for this program.
Yes.
And I think it's allowed Texas to jump back into Florida. right?
Oh, no doubt.
If you're going to recruit in Florida, it's got to be a tough sell going into parents' homes and say, you want to watch your kids play in Ames, Iowa, or Manhattan, Kansas?
Yeah, I had a lot of failures in the state of Florida, but I spent a lot of money, so that's very important too.
That is.
Yeah.
But it's like now
And I
you're
did have a good time.
Now you're in the SEC. You're playing at Florida. You've got a game in the state of Mississippi. You got a game in the state of Georgia this year.
All those teams recruit the area, that recruit Florida. So you've got to be able to, the teams that you play, you have to go there and recruit against them.
Yeah.
Georgia loves the kids from Florida.
But now, like, actually having the chance to go play there, right? You show these high school kids, you show these elementary school kids, like what Texas football is all about in person. It's not just, oh, they have to watch it on TV. It's, oh, I actually get to see Texas play in front of me.
Yeah, dude, the brand is big enough, but the actual playing of good football is even more important.
Yeah.
And the kids of Florida, they don't just stay in Florida. A bunch of them do, but believe me, they go all over the country to play football. And coming to a place like Austin, Texas is key for a bunch of kids like that out of the Panhandle, some of the places that you will see Miami get kids out of. So you can go into Miami, you can go to Vero Beach, you can go wherever you want to. You can go anywhere in the state of Florida and get kids, and they've done a good job of that.
Yeah,
that's why it'll be important. Like today, for Gibson to have a really nice game.
Yeah,
take care of the football, just show, and he's going to tell his friends.
Doing a pregame show live right now.
Yeah, and you're keeping us live.
Okay. Yeah, you feel for C.J. Baxter because he's a Florida kid who can't play.
Yes.
But Jared Gibson went to Gainesville High before he transferred to IMG
That's right.
Academy. You've got Grayson Littleton, the true freshman. He's a Florida kid. Jamie French, a Florida kid. Myron Charles. There's a lot. And by the way, Buck, to talk about the point of Texas now being able to recruit the state of Florida, the number one quarterback in Florida is committed to Texas.
That's right.
Steve Bell. The number one running back in Florida is committed to Texas. The number 2 D lineman in Florida for the class of 2026, all committed to Texas. So you go in there and win today. And look, I think those guys are pretty locked into their commitments, but you go in and win today. It's not just those 3 who are going to start.
No, you're talking about your future too.
Right. So this game, obviously, in the short term, trying to get to 1-0 in the SEC, trying to avoid that second loss in the 12-team playoff era. Obviously, for this year, it matters a hell of a lot. But for the future, I think there's some long-term effects too.
Yeah, just go in there and play solid football today. You should come away with a good win. I mean, you have to give them the game today. You have to do. It's going to be Texas giving them the game.
I agree.
And them winning the game. It's going to be tough. You may see a different Florida team than you see with this 1-3 record that they've had. It may be a little bit different, but I'll tell you what, you have to really do a lot to give them the game today. You're going to have to play dumb football.
Yeah, the only way Texas loses, I honestly think the only way this game is a single-digit game is if Texas commits a bunch of penalties and they turn the ball over multiple times. If they play a clean, doesn't have to be perfectly clean. You're not going to have 0 penalties.
Your defense is going to keep you right there.
I think so. Defense in the run game, that should carry you to a victory. That's what LSU did against Florida. That's what Miami did against Florida. I hope that's what Texas does.
I'll say this before parting too, BK, that Florida's going to try to run the ball against this Texas defense. And we've seen teams who start out trying but have failed doing it. But this group is going to believe they want to take the ball. They don't want Lagway to have things that happen bad to them. So they're going to continue to run. They may get stuffed, but they're going to keep on running number 13.
I'm with you on that. All right, time for our game score predictions. Can you reach that raffle box, by the way?
Got it.
Is that too far away from you? I know it's it's the one on the left.
I've been going to stretch zone, man. Getting stretched.
Yeah, this would be great, but it's the pencil box that I need you to get.
Oh, the little one.
You might have to stand up for
I got to go ahead.
Right
I've been doing extra stretches.
There you go. All right, so we'll do our raffle and our game score predictions.
All right, buddy.
Brought to you by our great friends at Paul's Motor Works. They've been providing complete foreign and domestic automotive care here in Central Texas since 2000.
This looks like the Mullet Open raffle here.
What do you think? Yeah, should I look?
Do you see the names you want to? You see the name you already want to pull out? That's cool.
There's a lot in here. All right, the winner of our Cavender's Cowboy hat.
Sweet.
Ernie C. I'm looking right at him.
Nice.
Even though he's wearing a Spurs shirt, we could go without that. He's going to win our Cowboy hat giveaway today. Congrats to Ernie. Thanks for coming out, brother. All right. Paul's Motor Works, again, complete foreign and domestic automotive care since 2000. They specialize in Mercedes, Audi, BMW. It's where I go to get my oil change for my Altima. They are a car mechanic that you can actually trust. Go see them on 620 and 2222. Buck, as always, you have the honors.
I am going to take Texas winning 24-17.
You've changed.
Yes.
All right. All week long, you've been saying it's going to be a game-winning field goal for the Longhorns. Now you're up to a touchdown and a cover.
and it should. It should be. But I'm not going to be surprised if it's 3.
Okay.
I won't be surprised, but I'm going to say 24-17. I need this team to score at least 24 points, though.
Yeah.
I need this offense to score 24 points. I don't know where it's going to come from for Florida, but this Texas team needs to score 24.
If Texas scores 21, they win this game.
Okay.
But like I'd like to see them score 30, wouldn't you?
Yes.
That'd be nice to see. Okay, I'm right there with you. I'm 24-13. So I've got it as a double-digit Texas win. I'm very confident. I've been confident in this game since November 10th of 2024.
I have not.
That was the day after Texas beat the crap out of Florida last year.
Yeah.
I know you've been.
I've been worried about that.
You're only 4 points different than me on your prediction.
Yeah, I'm going to take this that Arch Manning's success that he had against the ghost of Sam Houston still remains with him, and he just plays really, really good football today.
I like that. Both of us have the Longhorns winning to go to 1-0 in SEC play, and of course 4-1 on the season going into OU week. That's going to do it for us today. Special thanks to the great people at Lavaca Street Bar for having us out. Awesome place. Again, if you're looking for a spot to watch Texas, Florida, or any football this weekend, come out to Lavaca Street Bar. Post game, after the game, it'll be me and Zay.
Nice.
This afternoon. So right after the game goes final, make sure you keep it locked in to TSU. But that'll do it for our pregame show. Thanks again to Covert Bee Cave and Audiovisual Consultations, our title sponsors, for Bucky Godboll and BK Brad Kellner. Y'all enjoy the game and the rest of the weekend, and hook 'em.
Hook 'em.